What's up, everyone? Give me 1 second just to get everything set up. We got Anthony Irwin joining us here in a little bit. We also may or may not have another very special guest joining us later tonight. We'll save that for a surprise. I'm very excited about this game. The Lakers have played a couple bad teams in a row. It has led to 6 of the 8 quarters being some pretty bad basketball. The Thunder are on the heels of playing one of their most dominant start to finish performances of the season. So this should be a good test for both teams. Everybody hear me? Am I on stage properly? I believe so. Max says the audio is kinda iffy. Are you guys hearing me now? Kalen, you doing alright, buddy? I saw that the, Knicks had a rough night. We have Anthony coming to join us right now. Thank you all for coming to join us tonight. Busy night at Playback. They got a lot of rooms going. I can't think of a better game for something like this. It's gonna be a fun one. Anthony, can you hear me yet? There we go. Hey, buddy. Can you hear me? How's it going, man?
Can't complain. Hold on one sec.
Take your time. I wanna, have a little chat about what you expect tonight before we get started.
All right. I think do I sound okay?
You sound great, man.
Cool.
What are we looking for tonight?
It's the first like barometer game, right? Like opening night's tough because it's a completely blank slate, that especially given the Lakers preseason and stuff like that. So it was kind of hard to consider that a barometer game, and Minnesota is only a game later, so it's kind of difficult to kind of figure that. This one though, they have some reps under their belt. They're relatively healthy compared to how they've been for the rest of the season. This is one where the Lakers should be competitive. If they aren't competitive in this one, it would send some red flags to me. How about you?
Yeah, that's really the big one for me. I think that, even down the bodies that OKC's down, they're playing so good on both ends of the floor right now that I still view them as just an extremely difficult team to beat in their home building. And so under normal circumstances, even if you're fully healthy, this is not an easy game to win. And obviously missing LeBron James. I think one of the things that stood out to me with Oklahoma City over the last couple of years is you kind of have to have this combination of size from the perimeter because that's the weak point of their defense. Like if you have to nitpick one thing in their defense, and they don't really have much to go at there, but the one thing you could nitpick is their perimeter defenders are relatively short
Yeah.
compared to some of the other types of matchups that you might run into elsewhere in the league. And so when you combine that with the way that their defensive style attacks you with aggression, a lot of double teaming, blitzing, gapping, hard help, leaning on closeouts and speed to basically make up for that aggressiveness. I think having big ball handlers that can attack their smaller perimeter defenders and pass through their defense is the key to beating them. I think that's why Denver's given them issues over the years, even just with Jokic. And so I I look at this team is a team that they really need LeBron for because of that specific issue.
Yeah.
That said, to your point, this is a game that they should be able to, at the very least, stay competitive in as just a checkpoint, as you said. I think I was a little worried coming into the game with the way they had been playing in the previous two games, but they locked in the second half of that Charlotte game, played some serious basketball. I at least think that they're ready. They're ready to give their best shot tonight. I think it's going to be a fun one.
The Yeah, like OKC, their whole thing is speed up the other team, make them play faster than they're comfortable playing, and you don't speed up Luka. Like that's the one thing that you just nobody is capable of doing. To your point earlier about Jokic, nobody speeds up Jokic, and obviously LeBron has been doing this for so long that there's no speeding him up either. And when they have LeBron and Luka at the same time, they're both so tall that they could throw over the top of OKC's defense, and they throw their skip passes so hard and so accurately that if there's a shooter on the other end of it, it creates a real advantage for the Lakers. So I really wish, like, there was like when we started hearing, yeah, LeBron is kind of ramping up and he's doing this and he's doing that, I was like, "Ooh, man, maybe he'll travel out to OKC for this one." But no, it would, obviously we got word that he's practicing with the G League. Could you imagine, like, you're a random G League player? It's like, all right, we're running fives. All right, cool. Check in, Bron. What? Senior?
You know what's funny though? I saw the report yesterday, and I saw the Shams tweet today, and the first thing I thought was like, I just imagine LeBron playing fives with a bunch of non NBA talent, and like him just getting super frustrated every 5 seconds with some of their limitations. That's what I imagine. But what's your best guess on when he comes back?
I would say he probably sits out the first game back from the road trip, and I think the next game after that would be when he gives it a go. Yeah, there was nothing worse than like playing in a game, and if there was like anybody on like who hadn't played basketball before, I remember the last time I really sprained my ankle hard was because this dude had no idea what he was doing. And I remember like kicking myself, like, as soon as he walked onto the court, you shouldn't have played anymore. You should have just walked off. And nope, he slid right underneath me, sprained my ankle really bad, and I never really played like competitively again. That guy ruined my entire incredibly hilarious playing career. Um
That's
but
always
yeah.
frustrating. There was a dude in Tucson, where, like, I sprained my ankle on him specifically, like, 3 different times, and on
Oh.
the 3rd time, I was like, "It's always you, man. What the hell?"
Yeah.
But so I have a question here from Tony Martin over on YouTube. He says, "Is J-Dub being out the equivalent to LeBron being out?" I know that's crazy to say. So I have a take on this, but I wanna hear your opinion first.
I can see why there would like somebody would try to make that comparison. The difference is OKC is so deep that like there is no comparison there. That they just randomly, it feels like every other night, find some other 20 athletic 23-year-old who's capable of dropping 15, whereas the Lakers just don't have that depth of talent. So I would say in terms of like if it was a playoff game, I would say yeah, it's a fairly apt comparison. But with this being a regular season game and with how deep they can go in their rotation, I don't think it's very fair comparison.
Yeah, I think matchup specific, like we talked about earlier, LeBron is a very important for this type of matchup. I think the second piece of it is, like you had just said, I totally agree. I think there's a certain identity that Oklahoma City has that extends even far beyond their stars. Like if you asked me what the best thing about the Oklahoma City Thunder is, it's their
Culture.
defense. Like Shea is in the conversation for the best player in the world, but their defense is very much far and away the best defense in the world. That is their calling card. And so that has, kind of had a certain amount of consistency regardless of who's been in and out of the lineup. With the Lakers, I think LeBron represents a bunch of things that they're not right now. Like he's the
Yeah.
guy that could anchor them as a defensive rebounding team. He's a guy that can anchor them as a backline communicator in their defense. He's a guy that I think could help keep DeAndre Ayton more on task, possession to possession. There's like a million things that he does that directly supports this team, which is more built on the top heavy. We've got 3 elite shot creators. That's what we do better than everybody. And so from that standpoint, like I'm not making excuses or anything. I still think ultimately no one cares. Ultimately, your team is who your team is. No one's going to go give the Lakers a game in the playoffs just because they don't have the same amount of talent as Oklahoma City. It's a challenge you have to overcome. But I do think LeBron is more important to the Lakers at this point than J Dub is to the Thunder.
Yeah, yeah, and especially on like a random Wednesday in November, you know, they play so hard. Like I'm really jealous of how hard they play on a night to night basis. Like there are OKC's duds are barely losing in Portland. You know, the Lakers duds are getting your asses kicked by the Atlanta Hawks when they don't have Trey, they don't have Jalen Johnson, they don't have all these guys. So their ceiling is just so much higher because, like you're saying, that defense. Basically, the way that I kind of talk about the top of the West, you have Denver, whose offense is the equivalent of OKC's defense, and vice versa. You know, and that's why I would be so fascinated by how that series would play out with how those teams are built currently.
Yeah, I think that there's a combination of youthful exuberance from their core players, but also their vets that they have are naturally high motor guys.
Yeah,
So like Alex Caruso only knows how to play one way.
yeah,
Isaiah Hartenstein only knows how to play one way, although he's younger than people think. Like the veteran guys that they have are naturally hard playing. And so it kind of puts them in this situation where they have such a strong basketball culture, such a depth of young athletic talent, and then their vets are all good night to night effort guys that their like kind of range of potential, levels of effort and focus and energy is much more narrow than what you're going to see from elsewhere in the league. Like I mean, you could tell within, and I've talked about this with the Lakers, and this is probably the biggest area where their athleticism limitations come to the forefront.
yeah.
When you have when you have an athletic disadvantage and you also don't play super hard or you're also not mentally engaged, you're already a step behind athletically, and now you're putting yourself a second step behind mentally and a third step behind if you're not playing hard. It can get so ugly so fast. And it's like that Atlanta game is a perfect example. Like within the first 4 minutes of game clock, you had like three dudes get back cut, two easy transition layups, just a bunch of
And
like
on
obvious
shooters too.
stuff. Yeah, where they were leaving shooters, and you're just dead in the water with a situation like that if you don't bring the requisite effort. And I think that's one of the things that I'm encouraged about tonight. I think the Lakers throughout this season generally have been a good effort team. Like I'm not worried about them coming out and playing hard tonight. They're going to come out and play hard. I think really it comes down to, can Luka compromise their defense at the point of attack? Like can Luka either score the ball consistently one-on-one or draw that second defender and make the right pass out? And then do the Lakers role players rise to
Work
the
on shots.
occasion and score with an advantage?
Yeah.
Austin's a guy I have my eye on tonight. Like this is a guy that,
Yep.
he's conquered some of his demons this year with dealing with more athletic perimeter defenders. And there is no better defense that you're going to run into than this Oklahoma City Thunder team. And so I think it's a good challenge for Austin too, in just an opportunity for him to demonstrate how real this leap is that he's shown this year.
I always like to make cross court or cross sport analogies. And I think the Thunder are the pitcher who throws 102 miles an hour. And if you don't have your accuracy that night, or if you aren't hitting spots, but you're still throwing 102 miles an hour, you have a little bit more margin for error. And the Lakers are kind of that junk ball pitcher who, if you aren't placing the ball, if you aren't painting the rubber, and you're only throwing 92 miles an hour, they're hitting the ball to somewhere on the coast. And that's kind of what that, again, and you just talk about like where teams basements and ceilings are. That's kind of where I see these two teams.
I like that comp. Like it's you have to win the location battle. You have to win like the mental, like getting in the hitter's head so he doesn't know what you're going to throw next, like that
Yeah,
kind
if
of
he
stuff. I
guesses
100%.
right, you're screwed.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
exactly. Whereas like if you just have nasty stuff, you just have nasty stuff. And I think that's ultimately the constant battle in the NBA is like the young, freakishly talented teams versus the older, more disciplined teams. But one of the problems is like when I watch Oklahoma City, they're generally a pretty they're a pretty mature basketball team relative to their age, and, like, and we'll see what happens. It gets more complicated. One of the things that helps OKC is they have, like, a very, simplified order of operations right now because J-Dub's out. They play through Shai.
Yeah.
And, Shea creates that initial advantage. He's been doing a great job managing games this year, and then they kind of just play basketball off of it. When J-Dub comes back, it's a little bit more of like a whose turn is it? Like who's looking to be aggressive here? And we did see times in the playoffs last year where they would get each other out of rhythm and they would kind of they were brutally bad in their losses on offense. That was the thing that kind of stuck out. And so we'll see if they can kind of avoid some of those pitfalls this year. But this this is not like 2022 Memphis. This is not a team where they are going to play well below their capability in a big spot because they're not mature. This is a mature basketball team, and I think I still think Denver has a lot to say. I mean, Denver and Oklahoma City are the two teams this year that have net ratings over 13, meaning they're outscoring their opponents by at least
Yep.
13 points per 100 possessions. Also with OKC, they have played literally the easiest schedule in the league coming into tonight. So like there's going to be some tougher battles ahead, but to the point you made earlier, they've had guys in and out of the lineup and they've just been cruising. But I'm super excited. We're gonna essentially what we're gonna do tonight, guys, is we're gonna kind of keep it focused on the basketball while the ball's in play, and then we'll shoot the shit when we get into stoppages and in commercial breaks and stuff. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat, and we'll try to get to those, especially when we get into commercial breaks. And Anthony, I'm not gonna be like doing play by play or anything. I'm literally just gonna be kind of calling out stuff that I see. Feel free to chime in anytime you want. I'm
Yeah.
excited, man. It's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah, I can't. I've been really looking forward. This is I've been doing this for a decade plus now, and it's kind of rare that I get this kind of amp for a regular season game.
I know. I know. One of the things that I have my eye on early is I think Kasem Wallace is just I think he's just too small for Luka. So I'm really curious to see how well of a job he does, and then also if they end up having to go to Caruso early and often. Blitz early, nice recovery from Chet. AJ Mitchell does a ton of damage downhill, and he's like a pretty solid pick and roll passer. The catch and shoot game is the one thing that I don't truly believe in. Look at how easily he went right around Casey Wallace there. That's something to keep an eye on. That he's just so strong that he only needs the
He just went
tiniest
right
little bit
through
of
his
an
shoulder.
angle on him, and he's going to go right around him. Let's see what they got here.
That's another thing to watch for is how often Luka can get downhill.
Absolutely. And Dort being out's a real advantage in this
Huge.
particular matchup. Like Dort is I would put Dort on the short list of like 2 or 3 guys that is best equipped to guard Luka.
Yeah. He's impossible to move. He's a fire hydrant.
I know. And he's allowed to get away with murder every single game.
Yeah. Ooh, you gotta shoot that one.
All right. So Shea was off ball in their first possession. Let's see what he's got here. See how they're gapping. They've been gapping aggressively on everybody, which I think has been part of the reason why they've been giving up so many of those easy swing pass threes. Good
There you
shot
go.
for Ayton right there on trail. It's kind of like a trailing big, but you don't see that often at the foul line, but it worked.
He's gonna have to knock down that shot tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Rui kind of opened up his stance a little bit there. I would have given him a little bit more space. Into horns here. Little ram screen for Ayton.
Gotta make a better screen there.
Okay, yep, Kaysen gets through. It's hard when it's that far from the basket. And Kaysen's not easy to score, but or, to screen.
There
Nice
you go.
shot. A great skip. That's the thing there. The big playmaker that can pass through Oklahoma City's defense and then having the guys that can pay off those sequences on the other end.
I would venture a guess that the Lakers will probably score like 1.3 points per possession on the season when Luka gets into the paint or
Oh,
more.
absolutely.
You
Yeah,
know?
I 100% agree with you. And that was really one of the things that I thought was missing last year from his
Yeah.
game. This is what I'm worried about with Austin. Is just that little uptick in energy, athleticism, and physicality in a higher usage role, and him struggling a bit. Only one possession, but let's see what he can do. Rui's gotta hit him. Good. There you get 2 on the ball. They switch it. Let's see if Luka can beat Chet. Goes to the step back. bucket.
It's
That's disgusting,
unbelievable.
guys. That's disgusting. Mike, I would say, yeah, I'd say Kawhi, Jalen, Dort. I think Wiggins deserves a lot of credit for the job he did in the 2022 series as well. That step back three for Shai's been money the last couple of games. That's a
Oh,
high
you gotta
risk
look up.
pass right there.
I don't think Rui saw that he was throwing it till way late.
Mhm.
Look how easily he's knocking Kayson's shoulder off of his line, making him open up.
Yeah, he's given up way too much size in that matchup.
And they don't really have any options tonight outside of him because J-Dub would be the other guy.
Austin
Mm,
left it short. Kinda shot that a little funky. He was, like, leaning forward. He shot it up high.
he sped up.
Yeah, for sure. Shai's hit 2 step backs in a row. Chet did a bunch of damage early last night against, Quentin Post in, like, ISOs. Haven't gone to it. They went to it on that one possession early, but that's it. That's the thing that when you watch these, like, super talented teams like Oklahoma City, you'll just see, like, the 7th or 8th best player on the team just make some crazy play, like, it's like, okay, Hartenstein's just gonna hit a right shoulder hook now. Although you could argue he's maybe their 5th or 6th best player. That's very well
No way.
defended by Chet.
Back out. Back out. Back out.
Give it up.
Look at him. There you go. He's open.
Knockdown. Um, from one person who roots for the Lakers to another, do you ever feel like Marcus Smart's threes are going in?
No. God, no. It's like remember our test 3 against Boston? Like, every single person in the greater LA area was like, "Ugh," and it went in. That's every single shot that Mark it's not even just threes. Like, he could be shooting a layup, and I'm like, "Ugh."
Yeah, I know. It's weird. The one shot he takes that I feel like is going in every time is like the little floater against drop coverage. He
Mhm.
does a really good job on that one. Wow, Luka
Luka
decked
wanted a
Shea there.
foul in the last play.
So we had a Luka post up a Case and Wallace there that didn't go anywhere. That's a nasty little float.
I'm glad they aren't calling that, like, little hip
The
foul.
arm grab.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you.
Like, set that tone early and then be consistent with it tonight.
Yeah, and Luka was kinda trying to do the same thing to Kaysen on the last one. I more or less out of a post up, but the same kinda concept with that off arm. Again, I'm of the opinion that these guys are out there trying to compete. Let them compete. Stop stopping the game. Let them
Yeah.
play. Alright, we got our, first commercial break here. What are your thoughts on the first shift there, Anthony?
You know, OKC's clearly better. They're getting better looks. Seems like a lot easier. What I was kind of nervous about with Austin, I think, has kind of come to fruition a little bit early here. Um, I would like to see Ayton set a screen for Austin just to kind of get him going, get him into space. But aside from that, I think the big thing that the Lakers are going to have to spam tonight is going to be Luka on anybody because they don't have the size to do anything with him.
Yeah, I thought that play where he settled for the pull-up three and the ball screen is kind of an example of the wrong approach for this matchup. Like, one of the reasons why Austin's been such an excellent pick and roll player this year is he's attacking with a ton of speed downhill in those ball screens. And like even when the big is there, he's either like blowing past them and going for like that extended arm finish where he just kind
Yeah,
of sneaks it around and finishes, or he's getting into their bodies and drawing fouls, or he's getting into their bodies and hitting like little short jump shots that are higher percentage shots for him. He's been really trying to get that 3-point shot off the dribble going over the last like honestly like week and a half, with the exception of the games he was out, and he's just struggled to get that going. And what's got him to this point in the season has been aggression downhill. And I'd like to see him just look to attack a little bit more. He got stonewalled on that one drive, but there's another opportunity to get downhill on the next action. Just got to keep going. Defensively, you can live with some of these tougher over the top shots that Shai's hitting, but like the easy transition kick aheads, the straight line drives that they gave up to AJ Mitchell and to Case and Wallace, those are the ones that you got to shut off. You've got to force them to kick that out. If you really look at it on this lineup, there's there's nobody on the floor that you're looking at as like a dead eye knockdown shooter. So you got to make them pass through your defense. and make them knock down shots. And just a couple of mistakes there. You give yourself a good chance to win if you force Shai to make a bunch of over the top shots. Hey, Mike, what is the Draymond back and forth with KOC? I didn't even see this. I want the what is the score in this Warriors game? I want the record to show I thought they would win tonight. I talked about it in the show this morning.
It
Yep,
is
92-84. They're in good shape so far.
92-84. Golden State's up.
Yeah, Wemby went off in the Bulls game because they guarded him with their centers and just played one-on-one, and Wemby just cooked them.
Yep.
But Golden State is like the perfect team to execute that, like guard him with a smaller player, get up underneath him, double team him, rotate out. I'm excited to watch the film of that one tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the book on Wemby now, right? Like that's the scouting report on Wemby is if you're guarding him with a center, you're especially with Chicago centers, like what do you like it's Vooch. Like what do you think's gonna happen there? But yeah, like get under him. He looks very uncomfortable with anybody at or around his ankles.
Yeah, and that's pretty typical for a player who's built the way that he's built. And that's something that he's going to have to figure out over the course of his career because that's not going anywhere. All right, back to it. They're posting up Luka on the right side, little back screen, forced pass turnover. That's going to be a death sentence against OKC. Wide open three for Cason Wallace. Good rebound from Ayton.
Board. Oh shoot.
Maybe not a good rebound for Ayton.
They call a foul there?
Dude, one of my early takeaways with Ayton is like when he plays against bad teams, he is a tough watch.
He's just kind of and I think that's where LeBron coming back would really help.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because there's nobody really on the court who tells Ayton like to snap back into shape.
Once again, Austin settling. We got 3 jumpers for Austin already, or 2 jumpers and a turnover. Let's not leave our feet. Okay, we have 2 guys leaving their feet on shot fakes for Chet. Chet's been hooping his ass off. He had a 9 for 9 night last night. Just absolutely annihilated Quentin Post. Did some damage spotting up off the ball. Did a ton of damage in the dunker spot off of Shai. He's become such a big, easy, like drop-off dunk target for them.
I always get nervous when guys lean in with their shooting shoulder. Like you do the fake and you get the guy up in the air and you lean a little too hard with the shooting shoulder. Remember Kobe dislocated his shoulder that way.
Yeah, I
One
mean,
time.
this is the thing with the foul grifting stuff too. Like, because I feel like a low gather is kind of a dangerous play for your shoulders as well.
Yeah.
You're just giving yourself additional hits throughout the game as part of that process. What happened here? Oh, they're
Was he
saying he's
bleeding?
bleeding. I think they're saying he's bleeding. Yeah. All right, Lakers need a bucket here. Let's see what they were on. I think they were up 10-9, so they're on OKC's on an 8-0 run, I believe. Maybe more. They might have been up 10-6, so it might be an 11-0 run.
Yeah, the Lakers got to get something going downhill that they get somewhere close to the basket.
100% agree with you. Let's see. JJ's been pretty good this year about being intentional about drawing up pretty targeted sets when they need a bucket. So let's see what he's got.
Especially on a dead ball like that.
Uh-huh.
There you go.
Great pass.
There
Great
you go.
finish.
And one.
Game 1. Great work. Lucas hit Ayton in the pocket there a couple times. He smoked the first one. The good work there.
I'm surprised by how much space the Lakers have created within the creases of OKC's defense with Smart out there.
So
Right?
in theory, though, Hartenstein's up at the level, so that's 2 on the ball. He just has to. You just have to make the read, and this is where it's like a cheat code having Luka because he's one of the best players in the world at that specific thing. You're right though. Like Luka generated action is getting good shots.
Yeah.
Austin's got to change his gear to attack more, but the Luka stuff is working. Wow, that was a brick.
That was a brick.
And that's like his money ball zone too. That was strange. I'd go under on those AJ Mitchell screens, try to make him shoot. See, that's it. Like, that's how you got to make him play. If he hits a bunch of those, fine. But, like, you can't just let him go right around you to that right-handed layup or left-handed layup.
I'd still like a little better contest, but yeah, I'm with you. That's the shot to force. You just got to get a hand up a little bit better.
So there was an example where I thought Luka actually was a little late on the or made the wrong read. Like he made the swing pass, but they'd already rotated to the swing, and by making 2 passes to the wing, it gave Shai a chance to get back out there. That's good
Okay.
D. Grab it. Good.
Ah,
Good smart. That was smart. You don't wanna force anything there.
bingo.
Here we go. Little high post up. Everyone's in scoring position. That's a tough shot. That's a very long 2.
This is where Austin not being very effective. Like Luca looks tired.
Yeah, and yeah, Austin's gotta get something going. He just simply does. Vando's coming in. I'm guessing he's coming in for Austin. All right, so
Yep.
Austin's first shift included, like, no aggressive drives towards the basket. Not a good start.
Yeah, no free throws, nothing. And I was thinking about it, like you and I'm happy that they aren't calling the little gather fouls and stuff like that, but it kind of hurts Austin's game in this one.
Yeah, but at the same time, Austin's a bucket getter. Go get a bucket.
Yeah.
You know? Like, this is
No,
the
I'm
thing.
with you.
You
Like in like the basketball fan in me is like, yes, I'm glad that they aren't calling that. But the Lakers fan in me is like, I could use those extra 5 points from Austin.
I don't wanna get into a free throw shooting contest between Luka and or between Shea and
Ooh.
Austin, though. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Man. Dude, Vando's got stone hands, dude. It's been one of the things that's driven me crazy with him over the
It's the
years.
craziest thing, man. He's like one of the best athletes you'll ever see. And then as soon as the ball touches his hands, he becomes
One of us, one of us. Little pick and pop, wide open Chet. Chet's been money on those this year. All right.
yeah, this is a big stretch here. These
Couple of
4 minutes
open
are
looks. Rui
huge.
misses an open look, and Rui misses an open look, and Chet makes his. The pick and pop is the hardest action in the league to cover if you have a big that can shoot the ball. It's like you're just basically forced to leave it open unless you wanna switch a huge mismatch. Blitz on Luka, nice pass to Ayton and finish.
Especially if the big doesn't have one of those like Brooke Lopez catapult shots, you know?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Chat's got a nice quick high release. There's just nothing you can really do about it.
They tagged Ayton on the roll there, but the tag was behind him, and so the skip was open to Laravia, but Luka just saw Ayton basically effectively had really deep post position on that tag, so he just threw it in there. Makes it essentially a higher percentage shot. Really swarming Shea on these drives. Could be.
Ah, don't.
They're gonna call that a kick? Because if so, they're gonna reset the shot clock. Yeah, they did. So, someone posted in the chat, Reeves is still a regular season player until proven otherwise, struggles versus physical teams. Austin had 28 or he had 8 20-point playoff games in the Western Conference Finals run in 2023. I think Austin's a really good basketball player. I just think he's a little bit matchup dependent now, which is something that I think he'll get better at. But it's not like a it's not like you go from being bad at something to great at something in one summer. It's something that I expect him to figure out over
Or
the
vice
course of the
versa.
next few years, and for it to not be, a straight line. It's going to be he's going to have big games where he goes up against Minnesota and looks awesome, and then he's going to have games where he doesn't, and he's going to have to find a way to minimize the bad ones and repeat the good ones.
And they also gotta like they have to set screens. Like he's not gonna be an ISO player against this level of athleticism. That's just not where he's at.
In general, I don't think that's where he's at his best. I think he's at his best when he's able to attack off of action or with an advantage. Really nice kick out from Shea there. Nice shot from Alex, former Laker, Alex Caruso. Little ghost screen,
Oh
and they
no.
busted it. Great rotation from Vando. That ghost screen worked to perfection, though they both ran with Joe. Hey, there we go. What were we saying about the gather call, though?
I'm guessing maybe they called it because he wound up near the bench. Like maybe there it was just like enough. I just whatever they do, like what the concern once they give it once, Shay's like, "Oh, okay. You're giving that call now, right?" You
And then
know?
they start hunting for it. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. All right, I think I got a clip here. I'm putting a clip together. Give me 1 second.
What do you think's up with the Warriors this season? Like, I feel like any given night, they're Jekyll or Hyde. Putting on hardwood seems like it would suck.
Okay, I think I did this right. Let me see if it worked.
Take the hat off.
Dude, it drives me crazy when people shoot jump shots
You're
with a forward
short
facing
because you
hat.
have a hat on.
It's just tell the world that you have bad form. Come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Get the hat off. Turn it backwards. It's the hoodie and the hat, you know? Like,
There we go.
yeah, I could see that, Mike, that they're old, but, like, I don't know. Is the variation is so wide on them.
All right, let me
Beating
just
San
tweet this link
Antonio
out real
tonight
quick.
well, I guess San Antonio caught back up. It's 102.99 now, but
It's a close game.
yeah.
So Tony Martin says, "You guys remember the KD swing foul bait era? This is what I would do. Like, I would just have it basically be if you made any sort of unnatural basketball move at all whatsoever, it'd be side out of bounds no matter what. Like, even if you're in the penalty. I just, I just can't, and I wouldn't have it count against the dude's foul count either. I think having non-basketball plays in the game is bad for the game. I'd find a way to get rid of it at all costs.
My rule is it's the pickup fight rule. If you do something that would start a fight at a pickup game, you shouldn't benefit from it in an NBA game.
100% agree. If you did it, some of the shit you see in these NBA games that they did in a pickup game, everybody in the gym would like yell at you until you left.
Yeah.
Like it's legitimately crazy.
Like I remember playing back when Sacramento was like, first really relied on flopping. And there was a dude who started flopping at the gym and who was just like, "Get out. You're not doing that here. Stop."
If you, I haven't seen that in a very long time, but if I did, I'd probably have a conniption fit. All right, so this and one from Luka pulls it a little closer. I actually think they're defending okay. They're forcing them to make jump shots for the most part, outside of the handful of mistakes. They're just not paying off some of these Luka sequences the way they need to. All right, here we go. Vando on Shea. Little guard ghost screen again. Another one, switch. They're gapping. There's that step back. Missed that one. All right. If Luka could cut this to 5 or so before Austin gets back in, and then Austin comes in like a man possessed, they can make this more competitive. Let's see. Here's our Caruso on Luka. Blitz.
Oh no.
Floppy pass. Nice.
On pace for 20 turnovers.
That's
That's
really the game. That's the gamble that OKC is constantly making. Is they're essentially saying, yeah, you're going to beat us sometimes and get some wide open shots and wide open dunks, but you're also going to turn the ball over a lot, which we're going to turn into wide open shots and dunks. There's another step back three for Shea. You could tell he was mad that he missed the last one. Blitz again. Got to make the read. They didn't.
Vanderbilt looked upset they didn't get the ball there.
Yeah, Shea was kinda splitting the gap there between him and Laravia and, kinda trying to play on Luka's indecisiveness, and it worked. Is that not a kick off of Alex's foot?
Luka didn't complain. That usually gives
Yeah.
it away.
No, you're right. Good D. Good rebound. Blitzing Austin now. Okay, Luka. Luka will go through these phases where he doesn't even really look for basketball shots, he just looks for fouls. Um, just like the guy who leads the other team will
Oof.
sometimes. Not a good offensive quarter for the Lakers.
Mm-mm.
Let's see. Setting up a little double drag. No. There we go. Gotta make that pass. Good. Shoot it, Austin. There you go. Austin drives, Austin finishes.
Good screen there from Vando too.
Mhm.
That's
Good
the thing
D.
that Vando has to do. Oh,
Paid off. Oof.
that's the thing that Vando has to do though. Like on offense, like if he isn't setting, you know, 8 screens per shift, then he's just not gonna be very effective.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you're struggling to be a scorer anywhere on the floor, so if you're not finishing in the dunker, if you're not finishing at the three-point line, if you're not driving closeouts and finishing, if you're at least hitting somebody, like that'll go a
Yeah,
long way towards helping. It's better than standing around and doing nothing. But yeah, I mean, like one of the other things there too with Vando on that one roll that we saw, if Shea is gonna play kind of like in no man's land in the middle of the two, it doesn't make sense for Vando to roll as hard as he did. He needs to just roll short, essentially just get out of the screen and make himself available so that Luka has an easy pass to him, and then Vando can rip it. And if Vando rips it, he's probably going to get Shea to commit. And if he gets Shea to commit, then he can make that swing pass out to the right corner, out to Jake. And so I think part of the issue on that particular play was he rolled hard all the way to the rim on a blitz, and it
yeah.
just kind of made for a very difficult pass to actually hit him.
His angle too was weird because he rolled to the opposite block,
Mhm.
and he's gotta go more diagonal there, more
Mhm.
of a crossing route. The, I'll never forget when Lonzo was a Laker, I compared him to a Roomba, like a basketball Roomba, because he used to just float around and look for ways to just kind of annoy the other team's defense, and then offense, like, he would do that too, but when he was on offense, he would set a bunch of screens, and he would cut, and he would do all these things, and that's where, like, Vando clearly, he's one of the least skilled players in the sport, so, like, you gotta make up for it in one way or another.
Yeah, screen and short roll to make yourself available on the catch. Just make that next read and then crash the offensive glass like crazy and try to get some additional possessions. I do think his form looks better. I do think that he's. It's just it's really hard for him to get enough attempts in his current role to really build it out into a game shot. I've long been a believer that it takes like 3 steps. You gotta learn how to knock them down in a drill by yourself. You gotta learn how to knock them down in practice, and you gotta learn how to knock them down in a game, and they're all
Yeah.
very different, in terms of the speed and the intensity and the pressure. And so, like, it's just really hard. Like, he's not gonna get 100 three-point attempts this year, you know what I mean? So it's gonna be really
I hope
difficult for
not.
him. It's yeah, exactly. So it's difficult for him to get the amount of attempts that he needs, but I think his form looks better now to where it's crisper and, quicker and a little bit better energy transfer, not as hitchy. Um, but again, I'm just not sure if he's gonna get enough attempts
I
to
just
really build
still
it out.
worry about, like, when you shoot as high up as he does, when he releases the ball as high up as he does, if the ball slides over to your opposite shoulder, your elbow is just it's just
Out. Yeah.
impossible to shoot and I watch him shoot and if he kept his elbow or if he kept the ball on his shooting side, then it'd be fine, but the ball wanders over to the opposite side and it just throws his elbow all out of whack.
Oh, man. It's if they had a player like Vando who could hit 38% of his wide open catch and shoot threes, it's just a completely different type of dynamic to this
If you
team.
combine Vando and
Yeah,
Rui, it'd be the
yeah.
perfect player for the Lakers.
That's also a $30 million player, so I don't know what you
Well,
wanna do with
if you
that, but,
combine their 2 salaries, they make 30 million bucks a year. Like
Marcus is
32.
on Hartenstein. That's a really tough rebounding matchup.
There you go.
Got him out of there, though, that time. Alright, Austin. You are needed, my friend. Little widescreen for Austin, another blitz. Good skip. Come on, Dalton.
Nope.
That is such a tough shot. And, like, also, Dalton throwing the post entry to Jackson there
Yeah, shoot the ball.
essentially kills the chain. Like, shoot the 3, drive the closeout, don't pass it to Jackson with his back to the basket. Chet on Austin,
It was
a
weird
little
to
bit of a
see
gap on that other
Dalton not
side.
ready to
Could be.
shoot on that skip pass, right? Like, that's
Yeah.
what you're out there to do. Why is your hands by your side?
Dude, the stuff with I like the attack from Austin, even if it didn't work. It's the stuff with Dalton going from a guy that was like one of our most reliable catch and shoot players last year to like straight up being a liability now is just weird.
And
AJ
people
Mitchell,
say that it was like the trade. People always like to point to the he was not playing well before the that's why they traded him. Like,
dude.
he was not playing well. This might be a flagrant.
Yeah, I think you're right. Jonathan Fraser, thank you so much for the super chat, or for the power chat, excuse me. So he says, feels like an extended stretch now of that Lucas step back not falling. I'll have to pull the numbers on synergy tomorrow. It's something I've noticed too. I'll pull the numbers tomorrow. So if you listen to the Hoops Tonight show tomorrow morning, I'll have like an actual statistical marker for you. There's a misread there. Well, I guess it's Vando in the corner anyway. But yeah, it feels like both Austin and Luka have gone ice cold from three over the course of the last like week and a half or so. And I mean, part of it with Austin is I feel like he's settling for it a lot. Luka, I like that shot for him. It's a shot that he can make. I like it better when he gets a little more separation and when he's a little more picky with it. Um, but yeah, they both have cooled off considerably on that front.
Hmm. Presti has one stinker a draft. Well, you can have a stinker if you have 73 draft picks every draft.
Yes, you can. All right, let's see. Little ice. Flattened out the drive. Good job, Marcus. This bench unit doesn't have a ton of offensive talent. This is a unit the Lakers should gain ground on. This is a unit Austin's got to win.
Go, push it.
Okay, Marcus in the post against AJ Mitchell promptly turns it over. Nope, stays with the Lakers. All right, let's see what they drop on the baseline out of bounds here. A little back screen for Rui. Hey, we draw a foul. Very nice. Very simple action there. And the whole idea there, guys, is Rui's guarding or being guarded by a big in Chet, right? Austin's being guarded by a guard. Bigs and guards typically don't like to switch. They're supposed to in a situation like that. The vast majority of coaches will ask you to switch any sort of sideline or baseline out of bounds just because those are plays that are usually involving a ton of complicated interchanges. But on that sequence, they didn't switch. Chet got hit on the screen. Now all of a sudden, Rui's wide open under the basket, throws a nice little shot fake, and gets his way to the line.
Lakers are 2 of 5 from the free throw line.
Dude, they've been where are they at in the league? Let me see. I feel like they've been a bad free throw shooting team all season. Let me pull this up real quick. Lakers are 14th in free throw percentage. It's not that bad. Okay, I missed the dunk. What happened?
Miscommunication between Aiton and Dalton.
Little blitz of Austin. That was an interesting little passing lane closeout from Alex Caruso there because Dalton was open on the extra pass, but he kind of baited Marcus into taking it. It's a really nice play from Alex. That's a little defensive thing that you'll see the really smart defenders do. They sometimes will stunt and close out just to try to get you to overthink things a little bit. Well, this bench unit led by Austin can't score, and the bench unit for the Thunder led by literally Alex Caruso and Chet Holmgren and AJ Mitchell is scoring at will. So there's that. Have you looked at Oklahoma City's next 6 games?
No, I haven't.
Let me pull it up for you because this team is about to be 19-1. They have
Charlotte, New Orleans, Sacramento, Utah, Portland, Minnesota, Phoenix, Portland, Golden State.
They're going to rip off a bunch.
And like we talked about before, like they don't have duds. Like if somebody isn't playing up to the level that they need to be, Dagnall has like 33 guys that he can point to. All right, that guy's not playing very hard today. Rotation. Come on in here.
It's really that simple. Austin and Luka so far 9 points on 13 shots, 5 turnovers. Not good. Not good, Anthony. All right, we got any questions over here in the chat? Let's see. So the thing with the 70 wins thing, and by the way, it's certainly possible, but like let's say they wanted to beat Golden State's record, so they wanted to go 74-8, for instance. I just think that's borderline impossible with how much talent is in the league now. But I think 70 wins when you start 19-1 is like firmly a possibility. Will says AJ Mitchell clears Reeves. Well, he's clearing him tonight. I'll give you that, buddy.
Yeah, the Reeves thing is just.
Caitlin says, "Relax, Will." How's everything going for you, man? Everything going good on the home front?
Yeah, man. Just I was telling Harrison we had a minor freak out moment because my daughter, it's her like book drive right now, and she bought a diary. And it came with one of those little lockers on it, and she left the key to that locker at school. Well, fortunately, it was like a universal thing that they all come with. But man, you would have thought that like our dog died. Like she was just, I was about to record, and she's just like bawling outside the thing. I was like, "Are you bleeding?" And I had to go to the chat and ask, like, is this something that like because I told her, it's like, all right, you can cry over being hurt, you can cry over being sad and stuff. You can't cry over a diary lock not working. And apparently that's a little too harsh, according to my YouTube chat.
These are the kinds of crises you have to deal with. Yeah, my wife and I have been trying to have kids for 3 years, and it's just been a journey. It hasn't happened yet, and like it's been weird because I've seen all my friends and family go through the process, and I feel like you guys are just living an alternate life compared to what I'm living. It's weird. I went skiing today, man. I worked this morning, went skiing, and now I'm working again.
My wife and I went through the same thing, and the moment for us, like the moment we stopped trying, like we accepted that we weren't going to have kids. The moment that we stopped trying, took the pressure off of it. I told Jen to delete all of the apps, all that stuff. Like this isn't a ding, fries are done kind of a deal anymore. And that's how we had our first, and then the second one came shortly thereafter.
Yeah, it's been a very stressful year for us on several levels.
Moving.
We moved, and we had someone really close to the family pass away this year. It just was like a weird year, and I'm kind of hoping something similar. But yeah, that's life. That's life for you. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see if Austin can. I ski, and my wife snowboards. All right, let's see if the Lakers can make a little headway here on this lead. Kyle, I see your super chat. I'm going to pin it. We're going to get to it on the next commercial break. All right, here come the Thunder. Little brush screen in transition leaves Hartenstein open. They keep botching that same little pocket to Hartenstein. That's the second time. That was over the top. The other one was the bounce pass. Nate says that every time I watch the Lakers, they don't do great. Yeah, you're right. This is 2 blowouts
Here we
for me.
go.
Look at
He's
Austin
finally
on the
downhill.
attack. And he draws a foul. See, he got into his body, though. You get into the body, you can get to the foul line. So Aiton's way up at the level there.
On Mitchell. That doesn't make
I
sense.
don't think that's in the defensive game plan, if I had to guess. Like, Austin's peel switching, but that only will work if Aiton's a little bit further back. Kyle, to your question, to make it very simple, you guys look incredible. So I think that you have a very strong chance to go back to back. I think that things will get tougher. I think these 2 games, the Lakers-Warrior games, have been some of the tougher ones you've played this season. You guys have came into the night with the easiest schedule in the NBA. That doesn't. I'm not trying to cheapen anything you guys have accomplished. I think you're the best team. But the point is things will get tougher, and I want to see some of the challenges against the tougher teams. So, for instance, like there's another team in the NBA that has, I think, just 2 losses and has a 13 plus net rating, and that's Denver. And we know that's the big team that was about to be Luka's 5th turnover right there. Now he's grimacing a bit. Bump him, finish. Wow. Austin and Luka just haven't been good enough. It's really not much more complicated than that. Okay, Aiton's switching now. It's kind of more or less the same thing that they were doing earlier. Oh my god. Dude, Alex Caruso is wrecking Austin and Luka. Like, wrecking them.
Yeah, that fits. That tracks.
Yeah, he's straight up wrecking them. Wrecking Austin and Luka. I feel like Luka's been on, like, a little bit of a gimmicky effort tonight instead of just relying on brute force and talent.
Well, he started it, I thought, well, just knocking Wallace's shoulder offline, but he's kinda stopped playing with force since, it felt like.
Nope, you're absolutely right. And he hasn't seen much of Wallace since that first shift.
Yeah, I think, man, free throws. Um, I think the game, like, just absolutely got out of hand once Caruso came in.
Yep. Caruso just wrecked him. Absolutely wrecked him. He's so good, man. Did you see
His
Bulls fans
contract
trying to say that
annoys me every time I
they
see
won
it.
the Caruso trade?
What's that?
Did you see the Bulls fans that were trying to say they won the Caruso trade?
I keep on getting that.
Giddy's a superstar.
Caruso's a champion.
Yeah, and Caruso's like literally the best in the world at what he does specifically, just the do everything role player wing.
I remember
No foul. Good D.
when the Lakers, when Reeves started playing better for the Lakers, and Lakers fans started saying, like, see, they didn't need Caruso. It's like, why is one white guy playing good? Like, make letting another guy walk okay.
Dude, the thing too is like, it would be great? Both.
Yeah, right.
Dude, if Alex Caruso was the starting 3 for the Lakers right now, they'd be a top-tier championship contender.
Yeah. Well, also because you take him off of OKC.
Yeah, exactly. Instead, the best team in the league has him. Austin's attacking again, gets to the foul line. There we go. See, this is the kind of attitude they needed to come out with early.
Yeah. Well, I didn't understand them relying at all on Austin ISOs. Like, Ayton has to be setting a screen for Austin every time Austin has the ball.
Totally agree. Totally agree. And I like it when they get him like that a little bit early in the possession so that he can get downhill. It's a little tougher when you're coming static from 25 feet and the big is like able to kind of stymie your momentum before you
Yeah.
turn the corner. That's where I think it can get a little tricky.
And I also think with Austin, he really benefits from more vertical screens than horizontal ones.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. I think that's kind of like you're gonna see more of those in that like kind of semi-transition setup too. Little pick and pop. Like AJ Mitchell has been has been flat out a better ball handler to this point in the game than what they're getting from any non-Luka Laker yet. Austin's gotten to the line a few times. He's got to keep
Real
going
true.
though. Just gunned right down the floor like that too. This is bad, guys. This is an outclassing.
And look, like we said going into this one, right? Like, what are you watching for? Are they going to be competitive? They haven't been.
They haven't been competitive. It's that simple. They can't score, and they're getting cut to pieces on the other end. It's really not any more complicated than that. Luka has been bad, like bad, bad. You know what's crazy? The majority of this run has taken place with Shai off the floor. Ayton
Go.
just traveled. And this is what I mean when I talk about how obviously you don't win a championship without multiple stars, but the star of the Thunder is their defense. Make no mistake. They're plus 12 with Shai and plus 11 without him. And they're plus 11 in just 6.5 minutes versus plus 12 with Shai in 12 minutes. So they've just been kicking their ass literally without Shai. I mean, this is like organizational excellence personified. You're just watching a basketball team that position to position just kicks your ass in every phase of the game. And like it's just Dagnall deserves a shit ton of credit. Sam Presti deserves a shit ton of credit. They're just better than everybody. Aiton's got to finish
Oh
that.
no.
What are they doing, man?
Dude, they have 26 points with 4:47 to go.
Yeah, it's been bad. Like Luka's been bad. Austin's been bad. Ayton just smoked the wide open one. They can't hit any of their open threes.
OKC has them completely underwater.
They look discouraged too. They look beat.
I'm going to be really curious about JJ's post game presser in this one because if this continues, right, like maybe we'll see a better effort coming out. They've been better in third quarters recently. Um, but like if he does the whole effort thing again, and doesn't acknowledge, hey, I probably needed to do more to get Austin going downhill and early on, because that to me set a tone. Like that was they wiped Austin off of the court basically early on, and he hasn't been able to really get going since. And uh, OKC's second best player, their best player hasn't really had to do anything. The Lakers' best guy, Luka, hasn't been very good, and their second best player is even worse. And OKC is just they just completely swarmed them and swallowed them. It's been wild to watch.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to go blame JJ when your superstar turned the ball over 4 times
Oh,
in the first
totally. Yeah.
in his first shift. And yeah, like I think I'm a big believer that basketball trickles down from from the top. Like it just gets a lot like for instance with OKC, when your defense is as good as their defense is, it sets such a strong foundation for every other phase of the game. Now AJ Mitchell's playing more in transition. He's getting more of those like transition brush screens that are harder to guard. He's like consistently playing downhill in that transition phase because they're playing off of long rebounds and turnovers. And a lot of these like Alex Caruso is getting a wide open three. Why? He's getting a wide open three because he ripped Austin at half court. You know what I mean? There's a lot that trickles down from your kind of foundation as a basketball team. And the foundation of the Los Angeles Lakers is Luka Doncic. And if he can't go break down Oklahoma City's defense consistently, then he's not going to set Rui up for a bunch of open looks. And he's not going to set DeAndre Ayton up for a bunch of open looks, although Ayton smoked that lob. He's not going to set these guys up for advantages. And if he's not going to set them up for advantages, now they're trying to score against an Oklahoma City defense that's set. And none of these dudes are that good to where they're going to break down a set Oklahoma City defense. And so, I mean, to me, the story of the game is OKC's defense, which is their foundation, has been very strong and has set a really easy path for all of their players to succeed in a role. And Luka is failing to break down Oklahoma City's defense, which is making life very difficult for them in both phases of the game.
Luka's been favoring that left leg now for a few minutes.
Since he fell down. Yeah. Here's the thing with Luka, though. This is good dating back to when he was with Dallas. He's going to do that just about every game for something. And it's always really hard for me to tell if he's hurt or if he's just like kind of, doing the Luka thing.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that that's the reason why here, because he looked bad before he fell. I was just noting it for moving forward. Like, it would really suck to get LeBron back in the next week or so,
and then lose Luka.
Yeah.
God. Oh man. Well, LeBron's certainly not going to want to leave this to go to Golden State when both teams got absolutely smacked. And what are we doing? What are we doing, guys?
Out of a timeout.
Out of a timeout. Just giving up a wide open layup on a slip.
In other news, Jalen Brunson left the arena in a walking boot tonight.
Oh, shit. Ankle, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Another little passing lane closeout from Isaiah Joe that took away that easy little swing pass. Is Shai okay?
What was the last time we saw a Lakers role player attack a closeout hard?
Yeah, I mean, there haven't been many. That's a big shot from Marcus. They could get this down to like 17 at the half. I'd give them an outside shot, but see what they got here. Switch, gapping. Isaiah Joe, 30-footer off the left wing. Boom. That's you can't guard that. If you're not gapping on Shai, he's just going to cut you to pieces. And you made him take a 30-footer. Blitz. That passes behind Ayton. To your point, why isn't Rui? Shoot it or rip it, dude. Shoot it or rip it. How are you not matched up with their laser in transition? That's the one guy you don't leave open in that situation. Hilarious that that's the one that goes in. Okay, Ayton switches out onto Joe. Gets beat baseline. Good help from Marcus. Cut from Hartenstein.
I don't know how Ayton didn't steal that pass from Isaiah Joe.
Yeah. It's not pretty, guys. Steph Castle and Victor Wembanyama both had triple doubles tonight.
Castle becoming the passer that he's become is crazy.
Yeah, he has become a very, very good passer. He's one of the better interior passing guards that I've seen in a long time.
What if the Spurs trade De'Aaron Fox for AD and then just suffocate you defensively? What happens there?
De'Aaron Fox for AD?
Yeah, what if they do it? Like, what if they...
I think they need De'Aaron Fox, personally. I think their guards are good and scrappy, and they rebound really well, and they each have, like, a little thing that they're really good at, but I think they absolutely need that finger again? I think they absolutely need De'Aaron Fox shot creation, though. So Wemby had 31, 15, and 9. Steph Castle had 21, 10, and 10.
Ow. I've
Luka's been
always
shooting his free
wondered if
throw a little
Luka
flat
tries to
flat.
hit the front of the rim on his free throws.
I know. He's shooting it a little flat this season.
Yeah, 9 points, 3 minutes from halftime from your best player is just not gonna do it.
And he hasn't handled the blitz as well either. Just smoked another free throw.
How angry do you think Patrick Beverley is that they finally made basketball shoes that look like Uggs after his playing career?
Patrick Beverley is way too relevant for a non-NBA player over the course of the last season and a half. All right, let's see. Jesus, they're so good.
But look how quickly they're making their reads though, you
Yeah.
know? They're just so much like, it's you can't be less athletic and slower on your reads.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Yeah, they're getting their asses handed to them. They're doubled up 64-32.
Look how slow this is. Walking to a screen.
Good finish from Austin.
Um,
Austin wants it on the ground.
I know I fouled him, but
He, has been hitting that little step back on that left-hand side with that in and out dribble. He's hit a couple of them already this game, and he's been hitting it a ton as of late, and so now he can kinda go into that step back, hold the high hesitation for just a split second, the defender's pursuing it, and then he's able to just push forward, and that's what he got Austin with that time.
yeah, I've always thought that Shea just plays like such a cat out there, you know? Like,
Oh my god, yeah.
he just slinks
Yeah, to your
around and
point,
he's
he's
always
very
on balance and
yeah, to your point, I like that comparison because it's almost like he's on his toes and he's just kinda like a little bouncy with every step, you know what I mean?
yeah, in
I think that's
any
what allows
moment,
him to
he could
pop
just
up off the ground for his jumper whenever he wants to.
yeah.
At what point do you hang it up if you're the Lakers? Splits the blitz
I
that
think
time.
I think you got 4 minutes in the second half. I think you'll know pretty quickly.
Well, we talked about them maybe cutting it to 17, and instead they blew it open to
Yeah,
to 32 or
30.
whatever it was, yeah.
You'd be like, Look how quickly it's just pop, boom, boom, boom."
Yeah,
Every
they're
decision
getting
they
beat at
make
the
is
point of
just so
attack
quick.
pretty quick too. And it's the missed reads too, like Rui's shooting over a double team. Luka just scored over, like, a triple team. But the Thunder, they're just quickly beating their man, making a quick read, get in and out of the action quickly.
This has been a dismantling.
Yes, sir, it has. Anthony, yes, sir, it has. What a luxury for Shai. Just playing with the greatest defense ever assembled.
I mean, that's what happens when you're the best player in a trade and you got traded with assets somewhere.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's like
They're calling that a
that
shooting foul too. Go ahead.
that Sam Presti doesn't get enough credit for is like there are never any wasted years with Sam Presti, you know? Like either he's in asset acquisition mode or he's using the assets, you know, or he's doing both. Like what he's been doing while they've been building this roster here. Once Shea turned the corner, he's been somehow acquiring assets while also improving the team. And like how many years did the Lakers just kind of sit idly with at the end of the Luke or the LeBron AD era? You know, it's just this is how you arrive at a place here where organizationally, like this is an organizational beatdown.
You know what's kind of funny too about that, and like it is what it is because you find out you're getting Luka at the end of the day. But that era that we just went through, let's say OKC repeats. That was literally the most open era of NBA history. We didn't have a single repeat conference champion,
Yeah.
let alone a team that won the title twice in a row. And so you essentially had this like era where you could get a win even if you were a mediocre team. There were some teams that won titles in that stretch that were mediocre teams.
Yeah.
I shouldn't mediocre is too strong of a word. There were
Well,
teams
like
there that were
relative to
not exactly.
champions.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't juggernaut champions. So like that was the time to be aggressive, and it was always just passing the buck, waiting for the next thing, waiting for the next thing.
All right. I'm gonna see if me leaving improves the improves the
The
situation.
morale improves the something.
The
Anthony,
beatings
I
will
really appreciate you
continue
taking the
until
time to
morale
come hang out,
improves.
man.
But no, thank you for having me, man. I don't really do playback on, with the lounge. So if you're ever looking for somebody, let me know. Um, and no, congratulations, man, on everything you guys have built with hoops tonight. It's really awesome to watch.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate that. It has been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of hard work behind the scenes, not just from me, from the guys on my team. And again, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to be doing a bunch of Laker games this year, so I'll text you whenever I'm looking for someone to come hang out, and maybe we'll find a better game at some point down the line.
I mean, we have to. This
Yeah.
bar is underground.
Jeez, man. All right, dude.
All
Have a
right,
good night.
buddy.
I'll talk to you later. All right, Will. You can come up and have your victory lap.
I mean, Jason, I don't do victory laps mid game, so we're not. Uh,
I hate to bring it to you, man, but this one's over.
I've seen. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't even watch it because YouTube TV is having their spat with ESPN right now, and so I can't watch it. And it's not on League Pass, obviously, because it's a nationally televised game. So I'm just kind of I'm just kind of listening to you, and it sounds like we're playing pretty well. I don't know.
Yeah, you're kicking ass, Will. You're kicking ass. It's to make a long story short, Luka can't break you guys down. Austin's been straight up bad. As a result, all the role players have struggled because they're not getting set up with advantages, and then
Yeah.
you guys are kind of cutting us to pieces on the other end with just quick dribble penetration and quick reads, drop offs, and kick out threes, and all of the above. It's just been a down the roster outclassing. But I mean, like, if I had to ask you what the single defining trait of this Oklahoma City team was, would you say it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or would you say it's the defense?
Well, I think you asked me this last year during the run, and I
That's
said
right, I
Shea.
did.
Yeah, but I still want to say it's Shea, and I just think like, dude, you put him out there with four guys. It's like I said kind of jokingly like Shea plus four defensive players is a 60-win team. Like that's how it feels right now. Like he runs out like with these kind of mediocre lineups, or it should be a mediocre lineup, but his ability to like create offense in the half court and play in transition and all of the above is just like he can do just like enough, and the team around him is obviously good enough defensively to where it just like they just win a lot of games. I don't know, but I do think I would say like it's probably the defense. the defense allows them to just blow the doors off teams, and have insane runs that change games in a way that you'll see. Like, people have compared it to like the Warriors in like that run in like
The run in where?
they would just like gap teams by their scoring. Like, they would just go on insane runs. The Thunder will have runs where they just they score, but they score off transition where they turn you over like 6 possessions in a row, and then they'll score like, wow, what a block.
Yeah, that second quarter run. So you said you weren't watching, but basically in the second quarter, there was a run there where where SGA was off the floor, and they just kept turning the Lakers over and just running out and getting quick, easy ones. And it's like they blow a game open without even having any of their top 2 players on the floor, with J-Dub obviously out. Like, it's just, but to me, that's the organizational excellence. There's very much there's very much like an organization down. Everyone kicks ass at their job, and that's what allows you to have success deeper into your roster.
Yeah, I mean, like, think about where, like, how many teams could like miss two high picks. Like, obviously Topic, I'm praying for him. Obviously, he's got the testicular cancer. He's had a terrible start to his career. Like, I feel so bad for him, but I mean, he's obviously not playing right now. But him not being there in a basketball sense isn't an impact, because guess what? He drafts AJ Mitchell 38th overall. And AJ Mitchell is just like a godsend who's like,
And he's been awesome. And he's been like a guy that can run pick and roll and like run the offense and like make the reads and pressure the rim. And like, he's just good.
yeah. And obviously we drafted Thomas Sorber, who I think is our long-term iHeart replacement. But it doesn't matter that he's not there this season, because he did his ACL in the run-in, in the preseason, in and around, because we have Jalen Williams, who we drafted 40th overall like 3-4 years ago. iHeart, who I think that iHeart deal, like, I always thought we would move off. He's so good. Oh, he stepped out.
Oh my God. That's a tough
Wow.
call in that spot.
I always thought we would move off his contract, but his contract looks so good. He's such a good player.
It was timed right. The way the contract was put together, it didn't have any
Ooh,
larger impact on their ability to retain everybody else. It was the Hartenstein deal was genius. There's no way around it. That and the Caruso deal. It was like literally both of them ended up being instrumental in their win against Denver. Like, if you get even just one without the other, they don't win the title last year. Denver
100%.
advances. Like, it was just a absolute masterclass from Sam Presti. Like, there's no other way to put it. And they're like, you know what's crazy too? There would be times, Will, where I kind of hated watching you guys because of how clunky you'd look at on offense. You guys have become a really fun team to watch on offense too. There's like a general pace and side to side movement, quick decision making. You guys have become a fun to watch offense, a team that I've enjoyed to watch. Like, it's sometimes those film sessions for the defensive juggernaut that plays ugly offense can be kind of brutal for me to watch at 5:30 in the morning over some coffee, but I've actually really enjoyed watching the Thunder this year.
Oh, goaltend.
Count it.
Wow. Yeah, I definitely think, and again, this is AJ Mitchell, I guess, is that his off the bench stuff, like, that's why, and that was a big problem for the Thunder, like, last season, where they would have runs where Shai's off the floor and you're like, well, who's gonna set the offense? A lot of times it was J-Dub, especially in the playoffs, and he was obviously hit and miss with the hand issue. But AJ Mitchell just looks really competent, really confident. And yeah, like, obviously Shai is better than him, but it doesn't feel like the steep drop off that it was last year. And yeah, I'm really excited to see how that looks in those runs, kind of with J-Dub, and they can kind of play 2-man action or one's off the other. Like, I think that'll be
Well,
just
what he
make the
does
offense
too
better.
is he can pressure the absolute hell out of the rim. And so it's a very different type, but like Aaron Wiggins can do that a little bit, but he really likes to kind of take those off the dribble threes. He's more of like an aggressive 3-point shooter. Isaiah Joe's an aggressive 3-point shooter. AJ Mitchell's a very different type of attack than those two guys because he gets downhill with a lot of speed. I also think he's a little bit more of a pass first player. I think both Aaron and Isaiah can get a little shot happy. And so it's just been very complimentary. And like, I mean, if you would have told me before the season that you were going to have this many missed games from Chet, this many missed games from J-Dub, Aaron Wiggins is going to miss time. Like, if you'd have told me that, I would have thought that they would have struggled to score more than they have. But guys have just stepped up into roles. And then, dude, what's been your take on Chet to start the season? I think he's been unfriggin'
It's
believable, man.
phenomenal. I mean, like, you can just, and I don't think this is a factor of like him, like, quote unquote, like going up a level, even though I do think he's better. I just think like there's so much to basketball is just like being in rhythm. Like him being out for like 5 months, he never quite, he started the season last year really good, and then he was out for 5 months, and he never quite got his feet back under him. This season, even though he was out a couple of games, he's been able to kind of have a consistent run of games, and his
So you think it's
oh
helped him build a rhythm?
yeah, he's completely built a rhythm, and he's played so well off Shai, sorry, off Shai. He's played so well as like a pick, obviously pick and pop. He's one of the best pick and pop guys in the league. He can roll. Obviously, he's one of the best defenders in the league. He's even added like the mid range kind of a little bit into his
Yeah,
game.
that was what he was doing to Quentin Post early in the game last night. There's a dunker spot thing with him and Shea that's gotten kind of crazy where like he legitimately if he is open at all and Shea hits him, he just goes up and dunks it like easily. That's
Cam
a
Johnson got
shot
hurt.
Cooper Flag's got to knock down.
Are they on a back to back or no? Wait, hold on.
Who? OKC?
No, someone just said Cam Johnson got hurt.
Hopefully nothing serious.
Just went to the locker room. Okay. Yeah, that Clippers pick looks better every single day, man. I'm praying on their downfall, man.
Dude, I don't know what to say. Like, I could not have been more wrong about the Clippers this year.
Yeah,
That's probably my
a
biggest
lot of
wrong
very
thing.
smart basketball people who I value their opinion on love the Clippers. Obviously I wasn't like super down on them, but I wasn't sure how the age of the roster would kind of play into effect. And I mean, Beal is out, but Beal wasn't helping anyways, so I
Well,
don't know.
Beal just needed to be okay, and like it wasn't just the availability stuff because he couldn't stay on the court. But even when he was out there, he wasn't good. And like the thing with the John Collins move is they really needed John Collins, to be honest. It was a dynamic the team was missing, just kind of like a rangy athletic forward that kind of gave them a more of a too big configuration. It's essentially just imagine the physical dynamic that Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic present to teams. John Collins and Ivica Zubac can do some similar types of things with their layered size and athleticism.
Yeah.
But it just, in the context of losing Norman Powell, they needed Bradley Beal to be able to provide some of that pop. And then James Harden hasn't been as good as he was last year at the beginning. And then down the roster, they've had some performances that haven't gone their way. Like Chris Paul hasn't been very good. And then Kawhi Leonard got hurt. He tweaked his ankle, and he hasn't been very good in the minutes where he's been available. And so it's just like more often than not, it's like a bunch of things go your way or they don't. I mean, it's kind of like with the Thunder. Like if you said before the season, like this guy's going to be out, that guy's going to be out, this guy's going to be out, that guy's going to be out. What needs to happen for the Thunder to start the season 12-1? I'd be like, well, Shai's got to essentially continue his ascent into the ranks of the conversation for the best player in the world. Chet needs to take a leap to being a more reliable offensive player. And you need some of these dudes in the deeper bench offensively to pop, whether that's AJ Mitchell, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, whoever it is. Like, and then you need to be every bit as good on defense as you were last year. And I'd argue every single one of those things has gone your way.
Right. Yeah.
And now you're sitting at 12-1, and your next 6 games are easy. So you very easily could be 18-1 when this is when you get to a couple weeks from now. So it's like you just need things to go your way. And the Clippers, it's the exact opposite. Your best player's hurt again. Your second best player is not as good as he was last year. A couple of your signings like Chris Paul and Bradley Beal haven't panned out. The guy you traded out is having a career year down in Miami. It just everything went against them. And there's some context to the Norman Powell stuff. Like they really didn't want to sign him to a long-term deal. And like that's the thing. Like you have a flexibility through the Beal John Collins construct that you don't have if you sign Norman Powell to a long-term deal. So I think that's important context. But man, like to your point, like I don't care. Even if you account for all those things, they shouldn't be as bad as they have been. They just like they have a lot of good basketball players. Zubats is good. James Harden, even in a limited form, is still good. Derrick Jones Jr. is a useful athlete. Chris Dunn's a useful athlete. John Collins has been good. They have good players. They should be better than they've been.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is an interesting case, but I mean, I don't see them missing the play-in, which is, I mean, so if they're in the like 10-9 spot, is that a lottery pick, or how does that work?
I don't actually. I think the lottery is determined after the play-in tournament. The teams that don't get
Okay,
into the final 16.
okay. So that's I don't know. There's definitely a word. The West is weird. I mean, I would say playoff teams: OKC, Denver, Houston, um, Lakers, San Antonio, Minnesota, and then everybody else has massive issues outside of like the top 6.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, and that's the thing. Like the Lakers are getting outclassed tonight, but they've been a better night-to-night team than like Golden State has been to this point. They also have a major reinforcement coming in
Yeah,
LeBron,
LeBron.
which is not coming for Golden State. I think Golden State in general is like a more their defense, I think, gives them a better chance to compete in some specific matchups than the Lakers do. Like, for instance, even just last night, as bad as things got for the Warriors, it wasn't as bad as it was for the Lakers tonight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Actually, I
mean,
want to spin this back on you because I was curious. As someone who's rooted for OKC, is there even one thing that you've seen this year where you're like, we haven't been great there? That's something that I wish we could be better
I feel like the cop out is 3-point shooting.
at.
I like it does like the variance scares me because like I mean you saw last year like we were from like I don't know, maybe January 1 till the end of the regular season we were like the best or second best 3-point shooting team in the league, and it didn't translate to the playoffs. I do believe what we do lack is consistent 3-point shooters who can make threes when they're pressured. I feel like we have a lot of guys who can hit wide open threes or like wide open catch and shoots, but we don't have a lot of guys who can hit threes when the gaps kind of close a little bit and they're kind of thinking about it. Like I feel like you can kind of rush people, our shooters off their spots, and they'll kind of their shooting goes down. So I feel like that's why it's not just like I've kind of accepted it's not just variance with our shooting. Like there's a specific reason why we struggle more in the playoffs, and I feel like it's just because our shooters are kind of not good on under pressure.
Yeah, I more or less agree with you. I had this coach. It was actually a high school coach that I coached with as an assistant. And shout out Doug DeMore, a very, very good coach. Played professionally overseas for a decade as well. Really good basketball player in his playing day. But he used to say just a very simple thing. He'd be like, "Are you a shooter or are you a maker?" And to me, a shooter is a guy that like can make an open shot. And then a shooter is a guy who can make an open shot, and a maker is a guy where it's like when he gets it open, you're just like, "Oh no, like that's going in." Like
Right.
he gets a clean, like when you're watching Klay Thompson in his prime with the Warriors, if he got even a reasonably good look, you just felt like it was going in. It was terrifying. That's a maker, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at OKC's roster, they don't have a single maker in their starting lineup in any of their best configurations. So like Shea, Chet, J-Dub, Hartenstein, and Dort, there's no makers in that group. There's just shooters. Swap out Hartenstein for Cason Wallace. Still
Same boat.
still
Yeah.
no makers. Isaiah Joe is probably the one guy that you're like, if that guy gets a good look, it's going in. And again, like we're nitpicking
He's probably
here.
the worst defender on the roster, I would say. And I don't think he's a bad defender. But I would probably say he's the worst defender on the
Yeah,
roster.
it's unfair because he stands out like a sore thumb just because of how good his defense is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like the defense that he's playing for is. But yeah, to your point, it's I think that's a good call. I think that if you had to call out a single weakness, that would be the weakness. Is they just don't have like super reliable knockdown shooters, and I think that's why they've gone cold at times. But they're just so strong in every other part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, and like the other thing, I think in Memphis the other night we shot like 25% from three and we won by like 50.
Yeah,
So like,
sounds about
yeah,
right.
like, I mean, especially in the regular season, the 3-point variance doesn't really affect us because we play at such a high intensity defensively every night that like all we need to do is score like 110 and we win. Like
Yeah.
if the defense is locked on, like so. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it does scare me because I remember, last year in the playoffs, there were just some games where like I think well, game 4 in Denver was like a slugfest, but even like game 3, like there were just some games where we just get a lot of wide open threes and we were just missing them.
Yeah, I mean, that was the big thing that I mean, it was in the numbers. You guys had a 103 offensive rating in your 7 losses. And
Yeah.
so it was a consistent trend. Like you guys would just go super cold and you'd lose a playoff game. It didn't matter because you never went cold in the games you needed to be good,
Yeah.
so like
Well, yeah,
but
100%.
like it was the one thing, like it was the one wart, so to speak, on an otherwise dominant playoff run. And it's just something that I think is something to file away if you're trying to. Because I mean, here's the thing: we could do the boring thing. We could do the boring thing, which is just this team's way better than everybody. They're going to win the title. Like, why are we even doing this? Let's skip ahead 6 months, and
I feel like
just
that's
give them the
like
trophy.
a lot of I see a lot of fans saying that, like who are just like a lot like I saw a lot of Warriors fans last night who were just like, "Oh my god, it's us again." Like that's what I was hearing is like we used to do this stuff. Now I have Brandon Pajumski running around here doing nothing. That's what I was,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
like that but I don't think this like again, repeating in the NBA is hard. Like it's so difficult, especially with how good the league is. Like,
Yes, sir. With how good the league is, that's what I was talking about earlier. I had a person ask like if they were going to compete for the 70 wins thing, and it's like it's just really hard in the NBA right now with how skilled the league is. But I mean, they're off to such a good start now. Like at this point, like let's say they go 18-1 to start, so you would just need to go what's that 52 and um 52 and 11. Like that's so doable. That's
yeah,
like
that feels a lot better than 70. w- Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that feels a lot better than what, like 72 or sorry, what were you saying? Like 70?
If you go 70 and 12, that's a 70 win season.
Yeah,
But if you start 18-1, you only have to go 52 and 11 the rest of the way, which is like that's a little over a 60 win pace. That's nothing too crazy for this group.
yeah. I mean, it's I think we just need Jada back. Like, I really want to see how this team looks.
When is he going to come back? That's the next question.
I don't know. I think the team is being really cautious. So he could he would from my understanding was he was ramping up and then he felt the uncomfortable like his hand was like he wasn't fully back with the hand. It was feeling uncomfortable when he was starting to ramp back up. And so that's why he took the screw out. So it kind of put him back another 2 weeks.
And
So
there's no reason to force it.
yeah, he should. I think he's getting reevaluated sometime in the next couple days, and then we'll probably see where he's at. Probably I would assume sometime this month, but I
There's
don't know.
no reason to rush him.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
guys are killing everybody without him. It's also, I mean, there's a blessing in disguise with all this stuff. Like there have been things that have been good for the Lakers with LeBron out. That doesn't mean they're better without LeBron. It just means that there's a silver lining to him being out, and it's helped certain guys blossom into different roles, and those are legitimate upsides. But Chet wants a review.
Yeah, Dagnault's been like every time somebody tells Dagnault, like one of the players tells Dagnault to review, he reviews usually, unless it's like really obviously not.
Let's see. What they're gonna get him for is that hip thrust. Um
Jokic had 25 and 5 in the first quarter. Nice.
But one of the upsides of J-Dub being out is it's created the opportunity for AJ Mitchell to blossom into his role. You know what I mean? Which is going to be something that, holy shit, Nikola Jokic had 25 in the first quarter.
And he's going against
he's averaging 32, 12, and 12 over his previous 5 games.
Yeah, Zubats is like the guy that you would say like one-on-one is like, who's the best like one-on-one Jokic defenders in the league? Probably like, I mean, Zubats.
He's one of the top 3 or so, right?
I mean, yes.
Are you going to say Isaiah Hartenstein?
I mean, Alex Caruso?
Alex Caruso, yeah, there's another one.
I mean, I saw him. I see him beat everybody. He, I don't know. He's such a weird. Like, I don't think anybody can stay in front of him. That's the problem. Like, he just does. Like, he has insane touch around the rim. He can get to either hand off a spin. Like, he's one of the best post players I've ever seen. Not to mention his passing, so you can't really double him. Like, he's such a unique problem that like nobody is really that equipped to solve. I don't know. It's crazy.
I think that Jokic presents bigger problems for OKC even than Luka does, just because of that like ability he has to consistently get close to the basket for short range shots. Like Luka, as you can see, they're able to force him into some of these like 17 footers, like they're like a little bit deeper, and he's just not hitting them at a very high rate.
Thunder won their challenge.
Yes, they did. I thought they might get Chet for kind of like thrust, like he kind of like got up in Luka or in Austin's business, like kind of got into his like space on the floor. So I thought they might get Chet for that, but it was clean on the ball. Austin just went for that kind of like low gather pass thing and just hit him right on the elbow.
Yeah.
But the Lakers have literally shit their pants under ball pressure today. It has been like an embarrassing effort from them on that front.
And the crazy thing about this game is last time I was on last week and we were talking about, or a couple of days ago, and we were talking about how Dort is kind of the guy you'd want to see on Luka, and he's not even out there tonight, and really hasn't.
And they're doing just fine on Luka.
Yeah, and again, Luka's just missing shots. Like from what I can tell, because I'm not able to watch, but it's probably if I had to guess, it's probably one of those games where Luka is not quite getting to his spots. Like he's probably forcing it a little bit, but still, I mean, we've seen Luka like make shots. Like I don't know.
Yeah, we know he can. He's not getting great separation. He's settling a lot. He's had a lot of turnovers. It has not been pretty either way. He's been doing a lot of pouting, whining for fouls, the usual kind of stuff that you'll see.
Yeah.
Let's touch base with Denver LAC here. Clippers made a little run, it looks like.
Valanciunas, so I love these Nuggets jerseys. I love them.
The black ones with those stripes.
Yeah. I really like them.
These Clippers jerseys are weird.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Wide open 3 for Bogey.
We're gonna let Kalen come up here, and Nate and Gabe, hang tight. I'm gonna get to you guys in a little bit. Kalen, I need your help to put Will like off of all this optimism and just bring him back down to earth a little bit.
All right, I guess.
Listen, Will, we all heard you on the playbacks last year about how the world was falling every time the Thunder lost a playoff game. So you come into this season after your whole life being disappointed by this team and just think that everything's gold on the other side of the rainbow. Like, you should know better. Your team does good one time in your entire life, and all of a sudden everything's fine.
Well, I think there's such a thing as like being proven wrong. And like, even though like I feel like my I was pretty reactionary last year in the playoffs, which was probably entertaining, but it like I was genuinely like very emotional after a lot of those games, especially some of the losses.
Hey, that's part of being a basketball fan, man. That I think that's part of what makes sports great. Like let's be fans. Let's get super high after wins and super low after losses, and that's what makes it fun, man.
Yeah.
again, you can get boring and just never react to anything, but that's not fun.
Yeah, we had some, but I mean, you have to admit we had some pretty bad losses. Like we had
Yes, you
some, like
did.
the game 1 to Denver, that was bad. The
You
game
trailed
3 to
2-1 in 2
Denver,
series.
that was bad. The game 1 to Indy, that was bad. The game 3 to Indy, that was really bad. The game 6 to Indy, that was horrible.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the game 6 to Denver wasn't good either. That was a mess. That game always sticks in my craw a little bit because we were like playing well in game 6, and then Shai gets a 4th foul, like a stupid ticky-tack foul, goes out, and they go on like a 15-2-3 run or something, like to end the quarter. Like, and that kind of felt like the end of that game. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm just positive because I feel like this team is just better than last year's team, like by a significant margin.
Yeah. That's the
Like,
scary
at
thing,
least,
man.
yeah, I just think like I'm watching, like they look a lot better. Like the addition of AJ Mitchell as a ball handler, Hardenstein looks better. Chet looks a lot better. Like,
Boy, Ayton has been brutally bad tonight. He just fumbled another pocket pass from Luka.
well, I mean, Jason, this is Ayton. I mean, this is kind of what he is. I mean,
He's been really good for the most part this year. That's the thing. This has been a bad
No, I
week for
mean-
him, but
yeah,
he's had some monster games. He's a big part of why they were 8-3.
he's not a bad player. He's just like,
He's just inconsistent.
yeah.
Yeah, he struggles with consistent mental engagement, which I think can get him into spots like this where he just becomes mistake prone.
Like,
There's your 2 of your top 6 players just sitting in street clothes on the sideline
It's not fair,
I
man.
know, man,
as you're
it's
up
crazy.
78 to 50
It's
against the
not
Lakers.
fair. You're at the top of the mountain, Will. Enjoy it.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're at the top of the basketball world. Enjoy it, Will. These are the good times.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, with Presti, like obviously people are just kind of projecting that like the roster's just gonna get a lot better, but you just like with Presti, who the hell knows, man? Like, he's got so many of these picks, and like, I don't know, he could just keep churning out these 2nd-round picks into like really good rotation players for the next like decade.
Well, that's the team construct. We talked about that a lot in the postseason. I would imagine this is going to be a situation where you guys really don't choose to pay anybody other than Shai, Chet, and J-Dub. And you're just like cycling through a bunch of rookie contracts because all 3 of those dudes are all NBA caliber players. Like, I mean, I had J-Dub in my top 20 in my player rankings this summer. He'll be a top 15 guy eventually. Chet is arguably already a top 15 guy with how good he is defensively. Like, you're going to be paying like max and super max contracts to these guys. It's going to be really difficult to afford other players. So I think you're going to be cycling through a lot of draft picks.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody can do it, if anybody can cycle through a bunch of 2nd and first, like late 1st, early 2nd-round picks, it's Presti. I mean, he's proven it. Like,
Yeah,
his track record speaks for itself. Like, and that's kind of been the most impressive thing about how he's built this squad is like, I just can't believe how many like 2nd-round picks and like kind of like moves on the margins are like genuine contributors on a team that's good. AJ Mitchell is on this contract for this season, next season, the season after, on $3 million a year. $3 million a year for the next 3 seasons. That it's already the best contract in the league right now. It's going to be the best contract in NBA history by next year if he keeps playing like this. I mean, it's a joke.
it is a joke. It is a joke, man.
Okay, I'll get out of your hair, Jason. All right, thanks for having me on.
It was good to see you, buddy. Congrats on the back-to-back ass whoopings of the
Congrats on
old
the
titans of the
dynasty.
NBA.
Congrats
All right, stop jinxing. Stop.
Congrats
Dynasty. What is that? What's a dynasty?
Congrats on 74 wins. Congrats on.
Congrats on
Congrats
74
on
wins.
It's good. You know,
I don't even know if I want 74 wins. Have we talked about the jinx piece of this?
Yeah, Kalen's like, I dare the basketball gods.
I dare you. Go for it.
The Warriors
for
got
it.
73 wins and they didn't even win the title. So I would rather, like, if you ask Warrior fans right now, would you rather have one less obviously not had that record or won the title, obviously you take the title. Like
you'll do both. It'll be the ultimate middle finger to KD for leaving you.
well, I mean, KD never won 73, but yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, every time we beat the Warriors, I do enjoy it because they kind of ruined my childhood. Bastards.
You and me both, brother. All right, Will, it was good to see you, buddy.
It was good to see you. I'll see you later.
Kalen, do you have any thoughts on the Knicks?
I mean, they're just kind of learning Mike Brown ball at the moment. I don't love Brunson leaving the arena in a boot. I don't love that.
What happened in the injury? I didn't see it.
It was really, it was the end of the game. It was like the possession right before all the end of the bench guys were about to go. And he just went out
no.
and tweaked his ankle.
Oh no, that's brutal.
I'm assuming it's just a sprain, but the Knicks are always very coy with injuries, so we'll see. But the whole idea was getting him less wear and tear in the aggregate. So, and Mike Brown has been using, I think, in like a week, he'll have used the bench more than Tibbs used it in the entirety of last year. So
yeah, and they are passing the ball more. They're playing in transition more. There's a lot of really good stuff. I mean, the last 2 weeks they've been averaging almost 40 transition points a game, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, right now, I mean the thing with it currently, while they're trying to sort of ingrain it to become instinct instead of having to think about playing fast, is like the last 3 games they've had 40-point quarters and they've scored over 130 the last 3 games, and it's been great. But even like midst the games, there's just time where it just bogs down and everyone's like thinking too much and it just like grinds to a halt. And
yeah, old habits die hard, and I've talked about this a little bit on the show, but like you can make all the efforts you want, but it's going to take months and months before they really reconfigure the way they play to where it becomes natural. You know what I mean? You're forming new habits essentially.
Yeah, they're really. So that's why like in this sort of era of Knicks ball, which previous eras consisted of winning like 17 games a year, and just being a mess. Like honestly, it's just for me, it's just about playing more in transition and then just getting to March healthy, and then you just take your chances with the habits that.
Yeah, you want to be in a good rhythm when you get there. Exactly. All right, Kalen, it was good to see you, buddy. I'm going to send you down because I'm going to get to a couple of these other guys before we call it a night.
Yeah, sounds good.
See you, man.
See ya.
All right. Give me just a few minutes, guys. I want to touch base on this other game before we call it. Make sure Cam Johnson's not too injured. That would be bad. Apparently Christian Brown just went out with an ankle injury too. That's not good. Oh no, he's back in. So that's good news. Aaron Gordon's been a bucket this year. Little face shot there from Bogdan. I think I'm going to give up on the Laker game, guys. Here in the next TV timeout, I'll give them one more segment, and then we'll call it on the Laker game. We'll move around a little bit before the end of the night. Jeffo says he had the day off and he was hyped and everything. Yeah, man, I was excited for this game and just a complete and total ass kicking. No way around it. No way to gloss over it. I thought that they looked completely intimidated by the physicality. Luka turning the ball over against the blitzes. Austin not looking to attack the basket early. On defense, just getting beat straight line drives, getting beat by quick little easy sequences for driving kick threes and drop offs. It's just difficult to hang with them when they're playing like that. And you're absolutely right. The Lakers got to wake up for Friday. Will says Lakers fans and Warriors fans are making fun of each other for getting the belt from OKC. Oh, man. All right, Nate, I'm bringing you up. How's it
How's
going,
it
man?
going, Jason?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I feel like we're feeling pretty similar these last 2 days.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
I literally, dude, no, Pat Spencer went on a run, man. He went on a run, cut it to 21. I was feeling fantastic. Guy Santos was getting offensive rebounds, and I was like, heck yeah, dude. You get that rebound, Trace Jackson Davis. I was feeling fantastic. I don't know what you're talking about. Just wait for Bronny to get in and change the game, dude. Just wait. It'll happen.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's fake comeback time, Nate. It's fake comeback time.
You know what? I'm here for it. I will take every ounce of fake comeback that I get.
You
Because
know,
I have been enjoying Will Richard basketball. Any Will Richard that I get, I have been enjoying it.
yeah, he was a rare bright spot yesterday. They hit those couple of corner threes early in the game. Um, I this is the thing that's discouraging for me. The team that I'm rooting for has LeBron James coming back, and I still feel like they're completely outclassed. And so I can't imagine what it was like for a Warriors fan being like, Horford's coming.
Dude, dude, when I'm sitting there, I'm like, yeah, Al Horford will be here to go 1 of 6 from 3 because I'm gonna be honest, he has looked slow this year. Like, I don't know if it's because I didn't watch him as often. I just feel like on the Celtics, he was a little bit more mobile, and he just has been slow this year. And then you got Draymond and Jimmy talking about all this personal agenda crap. And honestly, I feel like Kuminga has been doing pretty dang good this year and trying. And yeah, sometimes he has his tunnel vision moments, but sometimes, like, what else is there? Like, nothing else is happening. You're relying on Gary Payton corner threes to happen. So it's like, you know what? I'm okay with Kaminga putting his head down and getting a midi because what other offense? I'll take a Kaminga midi over a Pods midi every day of the week, dude. Every day of the week, I'll take a Kaminga midi over a Pods midi.
You know, I thought this was super interesting too because, like, for the record, like I had a feeling they were going to bounce back against San Antonio tonight, but I thought it had more to do with just their defense. I think
It
Kuminga
got
had a great
spooky.
game last night. No, he had a couple of bad forces, like you said. He had a bad one in the second half, a couple of the bad ones in the beginning of the second half, where like he looked off a wide open Draymond right after Draymond had made a three, and another one where he turned the ball over trying to get going downhill. But like, I think blaming him for that ass kicking at the hands of the Thunder was ridiculous. And like, you can talk about lineup construction and like whether or not they needed to make a change to find more complementary players with the starters. That's a conversation you can have, but frankly, I think like kind of going all passive aggressive against Kuminga after the game was pretty lame.
I think it was too. I didn't love it, but I'm kind of pumped because I'm going to the Jazz Thunder game on the 21st, and so I'll get to watch the Thunder in person, and it's just like it's how I felt when I watched Wemby for those first 5 games of the year, where you're just sitting there watching your team and you're like, "Who's gonna beat them?" Like, it took all of their starting 5 plus 2 guys off the bench for Portland to beat them by 2. And because I watched that whole game, and it's like freaking Mark Daigneault was sending out Shea and like Uzman Zhang and all of these terrible offensive players, so then Isaiah Joe and all the better ones could like survive without Shea. And I'm just sitting here like, dude, who the heck is gonna beat these dudes?
I know. I know, man. Like, I think it comes down to someone's got to be playing really good basketball at the right time, and then they've got to go cold on offense. And so obviously Denver's a team I've got my eye on as a threat. I think this Lakers team has some potential, but I think they need to make a trade, and then I think they need LeBron to come back and be an all-NBA level guy. Who knows? There's probably going to be some dark horse out in the West at some point and some dark horse out in the East. But it's just the margin for error is so thin against this group. Vando for three! Vando for three! It's happening. I believe in it, guys. I believe in it. I'm telling
Hey,
you.
you can believe in your Vando threes. I'll believe in my Quentin Post threes. How about that? I feel like we're even there.
Oh my God.
So I was watching
Chet was going
Nerd
to
Sesh.
work on Quentin Post to start that game
Dude,
yesterday.
the first 2 possessions of the game, he had that pump fake step around, like, up and under against Quentin, and then that fall away, like, at the elbow. And after that, I'm like, "Oh, no." Like, "Oh, no." My mom's sitting there like, "They're gonna be fine." And I'm like, "Mom, no. Quentin Post is trying to guard, like, Chet. Like, you don't understand."
The left shoulder fade was like you could he just looked way too comfortable on that one too.
On the second shot of the game, too. Like, he wasn't, like, warm, he wasn't hot or nothing. Second shot of the game, he was like collard greens, baked potatoes.
That step through move he hit him with on the previous possession was nasty too. I thought he was about to take a little contested one there.
No, he's looked
Oh my
mobile
God.
this year. I have enjoyed Chet Holmgren basketball because he broke his hip and everybody was throwing a fit during the finals because he didn't look as mobile. And now that he's had a full offseason and he looks good, boom, he looks like that 25-point per game scorer that he was at the beginning of last year as a shock to nobody.
He's looked legitimately awesome. Like legitimately awesome. I 100% agree with you.
Do you think they're going to have 3 All-Stars or does J-Dub not play enough games?
He would have to come back in the next week or so and then be awesome when he does. But I don't think it's out of the question.
I mean, he dropped 40 in the finals with a broken hand. I wouldn't put anything past him.
I think J-Dub, like really ever since that game 7 against Denver, legitimately was playing at like an all NBA level. I mean, he had 40 in a finals game.
I've seen some comments of like, we don't need J-Dub. AJ Mitchell is here. And I'm like, guys, do you know how good they're going to be together? Like, can we imagine that instead of replacing one or the other? Like, you guys can have 2 good basketball players on your team at the same time. You know that, right?
I love basketball fans. They're the reason I have a job. But man, can they overthink basketball sometimes.
Oh, like the
It drives me
whole
crazy.
like Spurs point guard situation.
Yeah, the Spurs point guard
Oh no,
situation,
we
the
have
Lakers
3
don't
good
need
point guards. Our
LeBron. It's
life is
just,
gonna end.
dude. Oh my God. Shai drops another bomb.
He's so good. I feel like the foul baiting narrative isn't as prevalent this year.
I feel like it's been so bad all around the league that there's not really anything they can say. All right, we're definitely punting on the Lakers game. We'll watch a little bit more. We'll watch to the end of the first half of this Denver Clippers game, and then we'll call it a day.
All right, I had a quick question for you. So
Yeah,
I
let's
was
hear it.
watching the Nerd Sesh guys the other day, and they were talking
Love
about like the
them.
state of the league, and they kind of like made the argument of like, is this the best like top 5 players in the world that we have ever seen? And I just kind of wanted to get your take on that because they were sitting there reading the stats of Shea, Jokic, Luka, Wemby, and Giannis. And it's just ridiculous, dude. I think what they said was like the only other argument you could make is like Jordan, Magic, Bird, and like Hakeem and like Patrick Ewing, and then like Steph, LeBron, KD, Russ, and Harden in like 17 are like the only 2 years that they felt were comparable to this year.
Hang on one second. I'm tweeting out a link because I want to get back into this. This is a very interesting question because I haven't even thought of it this way.
No, Jason, heaven forbid you run your show. How dare you? I can't believe you.
I'm telling you, Jackson does so much for me to help my day to day. It can get there goes playback.tv.
Dude, when are we gonna get Jackson back on the playbacks? That
He's
was
gonna
actually a
join
lot of
eventually.
fun.
He's been doing some stuff with a move that has kept him busy.
Are you both just moving out? You were just like sick of it, and so you both moved?
With him, he was helping his girlfriend move, so it was a little more complicated. But yeah,
okay.
like we both have had very crazy busy summers. He ended up having a 2-week trip to Japan as well. But Jackson will be joining us for playbacks periodically throughout the season. All right, so what were the 2 years that he put as alternative possibilities?
It was like 1988 with like Jordan, Magic Bird, Olajuwon, and Ewing, and then 17 with Steph, LeBron, KD, and then like a combination of like Westbrook, Harden, or Kawhi, Harden. Like, kind of take your pick on the fourth, fifth guys there.
You know, Steph, LeBron, KD were so good. Like, I think Steph and LeBron circa that era were both at or near or above slightly where Jokic is at. So, like, if Jokic is what we would consider to be not just a top-tier superstar in the individual season, but also a top-tier superstar in the historical context. Like, Jokic is playing at the same level as the top guys in NBA history, not the top guys in the league.
Right.
Well, I think in 2017 and 2018, KD, LeBron, and Steph were all at that level. And so I think that when I look at like Shai and Luka for different reasons, I think like they're just a little bit of a level below that. But I think once you get to that fourth and fifth guy and you're starting to look at what you're getting from Giannis and you're starting to look at what you're getting from, whoever you want to give that fifth spot to, whether it's Victor Wembanyama or Anthony Edwards or whoever it might be, I think that the depth of top tier talent is better now. But those KD, Steph, LeBron in 2017, 2018 was like unlike anything I've ever seen. All three of them were legitimately playing at all-time great peak historical superstar level.
Yeah, as I've
But
like
that's a
gotten
good
as
debate.
like a more mature basketball fan, I've like gone back and rewatched that era of basketball, and it's just stupid how good, like how different KD was moving then versus now. Like KD was just moving different pre 2019, and LeBron was as smart as he ever was and athletic as he ever was, and the league was still playing deep drop coverage on Steph Curry, and it's just like, man, like that era of basketball was just insane. And I got to thinking of like, dang, what if the Thunder lose in the finals and they get Giannis? That's how the league felt back then.
I
Like that'd be
know.
so dumb.
I hope that I don't think it's possible at this point. I don't think Oklahoma City would do that, do something that dramatic. But like,
Oh, I don't either, but like the thought experiment was just like, holy
oh
crap.
yeah,
Like that's how it was back then. That's how it was.
I mean, the easiest way I can put it, guys, like think about how good this Oklahoma City team is. I don't know what it looks like after these last two blowouts, but before these two blowouts, the Thunder were like something like right around like plus 235 to win the title at most sports books. And that is not even close to what it was for the 2017-2018 Warriors.
Aren't the Warriors the only team in NBA history to have a negative line to win the title?
Before the season.
Yeah, but
Before the
like
season.
preseason odds, they had negative odds to win the
Yeah,
title.
they were like minus 130 to win the title in October. It was insane. Like they were an entirely different level. Because again, it was like, just imagine if you had again, and it gets so convoluted because I just talked about how you had three players playing at a historical superstar level. Two of those guys are on the same team, which in and of itself is a ridiculous team foundation. The third best player on the team is the greatest defensive player of his era, Draymond Green.
I'm glad you gave Dre his props.
And then you have Klay Thompson, who legitimately at the time was like, if you quantified him as essentially a 3-and-D guy, it was underselling him. But he was one of the better perimeter defenders in the league, the second best shooter in the league, a guy that was so gifted offensively he could go for 37 and a quarter.
How recently have you rewatched that? I rewatched it like a month and a half ago, and I just laughed the entire time at the shots he was taking. Like, it was ridiculous.
It's been a couple years since I've seen that video, but that video is an all-timer. It's an all-timer because the degree of difficulty just gets crazier and crazier. But then the fifth dude is Andre Iguodala, who, like, if anybody who rooted against the Warriors in that era from like 2015 to 2018, every time Andre checked into the game, he was a wrecking ball. He was guarding your team's best player and causing all sorts of problems. He was making great reads on every 4-on-3. He was getting dunks. He was making great passes out of the middle of the floor. He's hitting corner threes. He was just like the perfect fifth guy to tie all that together. And so it's like when you look at that team, it often gets portrayed as like KD and Steph versus LeBron. And it's so
And it
much more
wasn't. No,
convoluted than
that
that. It
team
was
was
the greatest
legitimately
roster ever
fantastic.
assembled. It was the greatest roster ever assembled.
It's like, hey, who are their bigs? Oh, it was Andrew Bogut, Zaza Pachulia, JaVale McGee, like these amazing vertical spacers, plus Sean Livingston, who never missed a mid-range in his entire life. And yeah, like those rosters were just insane.
They
It
were
was
just insane.
ridiculous.
It just was. It was ridiculous. I don't remember feeling any similar type of hopelessness. Like I've generally now the Thunder have impressed me this year at a different level, and I mean I want to see what it looks like over the course of 82 games. But there were even last year when the Thunder were, a 68 win team, I never viewed them as that much of a juggernaut, and I wasn't surprised when they were pushed the way that they were pushed. But that Warriors team was something else, man. Anybody who was a basketball fan in that era can remember just how crazy it was. Hey Nate, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm going to take a couple more callers before we get out of here for the night. Okay.
Hey man, I appreciate it.
See you, dude. Alrighty.
Yo.
Mike, what's up, man?
Not much, bud. How you doing?
Doing good. Can't complain other than the fact that the team I root for just got completely and utterly demolished on national television tonight. You know how that goes.
Well, welcome to life as a Celtics fan this year. That's basically what it's been like. So, you know what? Join the party, baby. You just have higher expectations. Yeah.
You guys have had a rough go of clutch games this year. I was digging into that this morning. You guys are giving up offensive rebounds on like 42% of your opponent's misses in the clutch and have like a 130 defensive rating. Last night, though, I thought you guys missed some clean looks, like the wide open one that Derek White missed in the right corner. That's tough. I thought Pritchard got a really good look there around the elbow in crunch time. But like, dude, I don't know about how you can tell me if Celtics fans feel differently, but I think the guy that needs to be better for you guys on the glass is Jaylen Brown. I thought he was the guy that lost Kelly Oubre on that final play. He wasn't like in great position to get the rebound, but he was the one guy on the floor that if he didn't just stand around, he might have been able to go get it. And I think there's a certain amount of like his rebounding's down pretty far. I think it's the lowest rebounds per game total since 2019 for him. Mm-hmm. And he's capable. He had a season back in 2023 where he averaged 7 rebounds a game. So I want to see him be more active on the glass. What's your take on all that situation?
So the rebounding. So there's 2 elements of the rebounding thing. One is that they constructed a center lineup outside of Nemi. That's just genuinely awful. I think Katie's been fantastic this year relative to expectations. Do I think that Nemi's a top 10 center in the league? No, but do I think he's like a playable center in the league, or at a bare minimum, like someone who's going to last in the league for a decade? Great. Awesome. And by the way, the development there is crazy because he was a 2-way guy with the Kings 3 years ago. But to the core question on rebounding, look, when you have Luka Garza, Xavier Tillman, and Chris Boucher as your centers, you're just not going to be able to produce in terms of defensive rebounding, especially given that the Celtics are a little undersized. On the JB front, I think it's just he's being asked to do a lot on the offensive end. And when you're being asked as a superstar to do so much offensively, and Luka runs into this quite a bit, even though he's a fantastic rebounder. The criticisms of Luka often are that he doesn't compete defensively enough, right? And I think with JB, it's like he's just really focused on trying to compete offensively and do what he can in terms of one-on-one matchups. And if he's not there rebounding the same way that he has been in past years, I think that's kind of what you have to take with it, unfortunately. He did say post-game, Jason, that was on him. And I think for a lot of superstars, maybe not a lot, but I think there's a decent percentage of superstars who would have just been like, yeah, man, it was what it was. Whereas JB stepped up, post-game was like, that loss is on me. And I think that's a big difference maker in terms of process. So, like, whether or not he becomes a better rebounder this year, well, that kind of remains to be seen. But I think for him, like, it's a bit of a feeling out process, like it is for Pritchard, like it is for White, in terms of assuming a new role and figuring out the basketball side of where that leaves you.
Yeah, I didn't see the post-game quote, so that's good. I'm glad to hear that he took some personal responsibility there. I'm a big believer that, like, a lot of times your superstars, it's easy to go like, oh, they have so much on their plate. But often they are the only guys that have the tools necessary to rectify some of your problems. And that kind of, to me, is where, like, I look at Jalen and I just go like, this is a problem your team has. And like, no, because you don't have a great center rotation, you're not going to go and be a top 10 defensive rebounding team, but you also can't be a bottom 4 defensive rebounding team. You got to be better than that, and like, that's really the gap that you're trying to close there. There's a lot to be encouraged about, though. Like, I think the clutch stuff can be cleaned up. I mean, that's where your season has turned, is a handful of games that you've lost in the final minutes. And then the second piece of it is, like, I thought Derek White started to get a little bit of a rhythm in that late third quarter. I think that was a strong indicator that he's starting to gain some momentum. There's been a lot of Derek White slander out there, like, oh, he split up the chart and now he's bad. And it's like, he's off to a bad start, but I think Derek White's going to have something to say as we get deeper into the season.
These losers are people who don't watch games. They're efficiency virgins who just look at shot charts.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. Watch him on the defensive end. He's averaging like a steal and a half a game, and he's blocking shots like crazy. So it's not like he's not producing on the defensive end. He's just not hitting shots. And by the way, he's not hitting shots because he's having better defenders on him, 1. 2, like, the other part of this is, and I think this goes for Peyton too, although I think Peyton's getting a little bit better in terms of his shooting numbers. When you lose Jason Tatum and his ability to self-create, that's a problem. Because the majority of Peyton's shots last year were catch and shoot threes off a Jason Tatum pass.
Yep.
The majority of Peyton Pritchard's made shots, in terms of assisted shots, came from Jason Tatum. So, like, you have to kind of figure out that spacing. And the majority of Derek White's shots have been a little rushed. They're a little deeper, But I think that he'll figure that out and get there. And if he ends up a touch down in terms of the overall shooting profile, fine. His volume's up. I get it. It is what it is on the Derek stuff. I'm sensitive with Derek just because I think he's like one of the best role players in the league. Period. Point blank. So it's frustrating to see the slander out there because people are like, he could be traded. I'm like, no. Brad Stevens knows how good that dude is. Unless you're going to give us 4 first-round picks, we're not trading him.
Basketball is always easier when you're surrounded by more talent. That's not exactly difficult to figure out. I mean, look at the difference in Kevin Durant's efficiency from 2016 to 2017 in the postseason. Like, it is absolutely connected, but I just think it's ridiculous to use that as a means with which to slander a player when that literally happens to everybody in the league. Like, there's not a player in the league that's like, oh, we're going to make him do more against stronger and more aggressive defensive coverages, and he's just going to experience a big uptick in efficiency. That's just not how basketball works.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Johnny B raises a good question. How imbalanced have the first 13 games been for the Celtics? Top 10 offense, 10th. Top 10 defense, 7th in the NBA. Top 10 overall, 8th in the NBA. A lot of that's a credit to Joe, man. The things that Joe really emphasizes in terms of defensive process are the same things that matter on the offensive end. It's a real presence about spacing and how you look to create the best advantages. Do I think this team is particularly talented? Not really. Would I be like somewhat happier if like Derek White went down with a 2 or 3 week injury, or Jaylen Brown ended up having a 2 or 3 week injury and this ended up being a tank year? Probably. Like, I personally would love a top pick in this draft because I think, going into 26-27 with Jason, Jalen, D. White, Pritchard, Hauser, we're going to trade Simons. And like AJ Dibancer, Darren Peterson, or Cam Boozer. Any one of those would be great. We'd be very happy with that. You know?
Do you have a favorite
like-
Simons trade right now, or do you think they're just going to dump salary?
They're going to dump Simons at some point. It's a matter of timing. It was interesting, Jason. I don't know if you got any of the early games with the Celtics, but the opening night game, they had Mike Zarin on NBC Sports Boston. And Zarin sort of slipped on the broadcast. He was like, yeah, we got out of the second apron, got out of the first apron. And then their lead play-by-play guy was like, you haven't gotten out of the first apron yet. And he's like, no, we haven't gotten out of there
yet.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're obviously going to trade one of Simons or Hauser and get out of the first apron so you can get out of the tax. You reset the aprons.
Don't you want to keep Hauser, or are you not as high on Hauser?
I mean, it is what it is. I love Sam, but he makes $10 million, and if I would prefer to trade Simons and just do a salary dump. If you're going to like go for a tank, go for a tank. You know, you keep Sam if you can, but ideally you'd love to deal Simons, make up to $12 million on the aprons, and then you're good to go. Personally, Johnny B, I'll tell you this: Tatum's not coming back in February, but if he does come back, from everything I've heard from people, mid-March would be the date if he comes back.
I hope they don't bring him back personally.
He really wants to come back, Jason.
I know, but dude, what for, man? I mean, if they start turning these clutch games around and they have a little bit better positioning in the standings, sure. I guess if you wanted to talk yourself into it, the case would be Cleveland is the only team that really feels like a legitimate championship level team. And that's only if Darius Garland's healthy, which he literally can't stay healthy and he just got hurt again. So essentially the East is wide open. But like, even with a healthy Tatum, it's a long shot and it's just a lot of mileage to put on a surgically repaired body at that point.
Hey, and look, the Brunson injury, he left in a cast or a walking boot, I should say, in the last hour at MSG. Who knows what that's going to mean?
Who knows what that is?
I
want to get to this question here. From what I've seen this season, Ayton doesn't seem like a good fit with Luka. Doesn't roll hard and force defenders to tag on the roll, which limits Luka as a playmaker in the half court. Fit is not beneficial for both sides. Ayton's had a bad week. I thought he was bad in the Atlanta game. I thought he was bad for the most part in the Charlotte game, and he was bad tonight. But he's been mostly great this season. He's been, I think, a little bit better fit with Austin than he's been with Luka. On that, we agree, in the sense that Luka is a better passer to vertical spacers. And so Luka, when he sees Jackson rolling hard, he just has a big vertical spacing window, and he struggled to connect on that with Ayton. But at the end of the day, like, as limited as Ayton is, you got to look at your options and look at what you're dealing with as a team that was looking for discounted centers. And it's not like they have some better option they can go to. And so the fact that you have a guy that makes sense with Luka and a guy that makes sense with Austin, I think is a strong starting position for essentially a vet minimum guy in Jackson and an $8 million a year mid-level exception guy in DeAndre Ayton. Like, everything's about adjusting your expectations. If you're going to have 3 max level players in Austin, Luka, and LeBron, there's going to be limitations in roster construct around that. You kind of have to take what you can get. And to me, I'm overwhelmingly looking at Ayton as a guy who's outperforming an $8 million a year contract, even though he was bad against Oklahoma City and had a rough week.
Just a thought. I know people keep making the AD to the Lakers jokes, but wouldn't the better, funnier Mavericks fit be trying to snag Daniel Gafford in a fire sale?
I think if the Mavs sold a reasonably valuable player to the Lakers, their fans would completely revolt.
I agree.
But I mean, there's several guys on the team that I'd like. I think Max Christie would be a great fit with the Lakers as like an athletic kind of wing player. I think Gafford would be an awesome fit with Luka. We've seen that a million times. I think that if you were to make some sort of move surrounding Rui for a small forward, I think that a guy like PJ Washington would be useful. But like, I haven't really spent much time thinking about the Mavs as a trade target team because I just don't think that they're a legitimate possibility. KD, YU911 asks, when is the next playback? We are going to be going live on Friday night for round 2 of the Spurs versus the Warriors, which should be an interesting one because it'll be a Tomorrow morning, I'm going to watch Spurs Warriors, and I will have a full breakdown of it, and we'll talk specifically about some of the adjustments and things I expect to see as we head into the Friday night game. But we'll be covering that one on Friday night, and then Saturday night we'll be covering the Lakers versus the Bucks. So a couple more playbacks on Friday and Saturday night. And let's just cross our fingers for a good game, guys.
Yeah, both of your playback experiences have just been like awful games.
It's okay. It is what it is. Because what I've been looking for is like talking basketball, like legitimately just focusing on the games and breaking the games down. And we haven't been able to do that because the games have been such disasters. But I mean, it is what it is.
It's fine. It's part of the process on playback, is sometimes you're going to run into some not so great games. One quick thing I'll note on that Warriors matchup: Steve Kerr's already announced he's going to go with the same starting lineup as he did tonight, which means no JK. Moody in the starting lineup. JK did not score tonight, by the way. Played 12 minutes. Had a Q tag for the game. I think it was like a back issue. Did have 4 boards. Didn't catch the game, so I can't really speak on it necessarily. I have seen some Warriors Twitter in their usual defensive stances, I would say. Our guy Sam been drawing up a bit of a hornet's nest in terms of some of his comments over the last couple of days.
About Kuminga?
Yeah.
Kuminga's got like some stands, dude.
Yeah.
He's got some stands. I'll tell you, get a highlight factory like Jonathan Kuminga. Those dudes, they get the Gen Z basketball fan that doesn't really understand what they're watching. They get those dudes all fired up. I'm telling you.
Well, look, here's the thing with JK. I think JK in a different basketball context might end up being like a really fun player.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's a good basketball player, I think is like kind of a separate conversation.
Yeah, or it's more just in the system that he's in.
Yeah.
More often in the NBA, we're seeing like 2 different types of general basketball approaches. There's a lot of crossover, to be clear, but there are like 4 out, 1 in matchup attacking pick and roll teams, and then there are 5 out ball and player movement side to side types of teams. And again, to be clear, there are overlap in both of those situations, but the Warriors just run so many interchanges, and it involves so much read and react that it taxes a player in a very different way than if you were to put him in a system where it's primarily built around getting him favorable matchups and good spacing to attack. And the entire goal of the offense is to allow him to break the defense down in one-on-ones. It's just, that's not the way Golden State plays. And so it taxes him in a different way. And so when he's making good reads and he's playing in the flow and he's knocking down his catch and shoot threes and not turning the ball over, he's a positive impact player for them. And when he's smoking catch and shoot threes and forcing the issue downhill and turning the ball over and kind of breaking the flow of Golden State side to side offense, he's hurting the team. And it doesn't really get much more complicated than that.
I think it's very funny because Kerr's response to all of it has struck me a lot, or similarly to the way that he reacted to the Olympic stuff, where he felt like he had to play Tatum at times because of the media reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to start the year, he has played JK because he feels like he has to, not just to raise the trade value, but because ownership has kind of demanded it with this new contract.
Yeah, Joe Lacob loves Kuminga. Joe Lacob's one of those
genuinely does. For people that don't know this, like,
yeah,
Joe has sat with JK at W games, at Valkyries games. Like, they're
buds.
Friendly as like a boss employee relationship can be, relatively speaking. So and that's the other thing that complicates things, is that Joe and Kirk Lakeup, who's still with the team. I'm blanking on the other Lakeup that is not with the team anymore. But, the Lakeups are not just in ownership, they're in management. So it makes it a little bit complicated when Dunleavy and Kerr are like, no, we don't like this player, and we'd rather not play him. So, December 15th, a good portion of the league opens up. January 15th, the rest of the league opens up. And then there are going to be some real long, hard conversations about what the Warriors do to try to improve this team, because they basically have an 18-month timeline with Kerr, Steph, and Dre, basically.
Do you agree with me that it's kind of ridiculous for them to blame Kuminga for what their current situation is.
Yeah, and the fact that Dre argued with KOC today, I thought was the dumbest thing in the world.
I need to dig into that because I haven't seen exactly.
I know
what
you
happened.
haven't seen it, so I'm not expecting you to comment on it. I'm more than happy to take shots here. Look, man, like you just got your ass kicked last night by like 40, and you're out here arguing on threads with KOC. Like what? Why? Like, and I know y'all won tonight, so you can take a victory lap, Dre. But like, really? Is that where we need to be spending our time? You made the comments post game, and everyone's going to assume those comments were directed at Kaminga and Pods. And shocker, those guys didn't play a ton tonight. Pods actually played 20 some odd minutes, but like, point remains, those guys didn't start. So like, you can't expect to say some stuff publicly and not have nasty
great pass.
You can't expect like the media to react to that stuff. I don't know. I found it distasteful, I guess would be the way I would describe it.
Yeah, I want to dig into it, but I'm my thing is like Draymond puts forward this image and this narrative that he is the new media. He represents the new media. This is where it's real basketball people that are going to really dig in and teach people. And like, in theory, I believe in that. Like, that's what I want. That's what all of us want. We want the people that are up close and personal to the game to provide their perspective and to help us understand what's happening on a possession to possession, game to game, season to season basis in the NBA. But then like you go out and like every other week, it feels like he's kind of just pulling a Stephen A. Smith and just talking shit, you know?
It's like he's got one
and it's like, oh, Dak Prescott's a bum. And it's like, okay, that's literally everything you said that you're fighting against with this endeavor. And so like, I've been just a little disappointed in like the actual execution of Draymond's vision for the new media.
To be fair, Jason, at the end of it, he like plugs the pod and he's like, if you want real basketball breakdowns, like criticizing KOC with the number one pick stuff, look, KOC's open to criticism too. Like all of that guy's writings and videos are out there. So like you want
and KOC works his ass off. KOC works his ass off.
Kevin's going to have that happen. But like that's the thing with anyone in basketball media. You're going to have takes. Sometimes those takes suck. Like genuinely. They're just bad. And it is what it is. But the funny thing is, in this like diatribe he has out there, he basically is like, you know, if you want to do video breakdowns, come watch my pod. Buddy, you're not the dunker spot. Like, you're not doing video breakdowns on your pod. I've watched your pod. You're not doing it. So, like, I don't know. Just me. I know that's your volume partner. It is what it is, but
he's not with the volume anymore. He's now with
he left?
He's now with Odyssey and under his new media brand.
Oh, he struck a brand deal for himself. Okay.
I'm a big Draymond fan. I think he gets a lot of flack for the way the team has played over the last few years when it's really just roster limitations. And Draymond, I think, is vitally important to everything that they do on defense. And I think he's the best defender of his era. I think
100%.
I am just as big a Draymond fan as you'll find. And I do believe in the actual, the actual goal of his new media venture. I just don't think he's executed it very well. And I think more often than not, he's just kind of being an asshole. So it's not any more complicated than that. And I think like targeting people that are legitimately just working their butts off to try to claw space in the basketball world when I just think he's being an asshole. I don't really say anything more
speaking
than
of
that.
new media stuff, I've seen some stuff in the chat. Have you been over to the DNVR studios yet for
I did. I recorded with Adam once at the DMVR studios. We've done our last 2 episodes remote, but I think we'll do a handful in person throughout the year. The DMVR studio is cool. The bar is really cool. Adam's awesome. I've really enjoyed working with him. I've loved being up here in the Denver area. I haven't made it out to a Nuggets game yet, but once I've been trying to get my routine settled here in this first couple of weeks of the season, but once I get settled into my routine and I kind of get a little bit more like I've completely reconfigured my workflow. I'm sure you Hoops Tonight listeners have noticed our episodes are coming out much earlier every day. And part of the reason for that is I'm waking up every morning at 5:30 to start because I want to facilitate a schedule where I can go skiing. And so we're getting the episodes up early, and it's taken a little bit of an adjustment period for me to get used to the new workflow. But once I get kind of settled in, I'm gonna try to get up to some Nuggets games, and I've definitely enjoyed living up here. It's a cool city.
It's such a different city than, like, in terms of a major city with the avenues to do 10,000 different things. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
like you can go skiing in the morning, watch hoops in the afternoon. Like, how many places can offer that?
exactly. I know. I had a cool day. I woke up this morning and I recorded a show, and then I drove out to Breckenridge and I skied, and then I came back and hung out for a little bit, had some dinner, and then now I'm working again. So speaking of which, my alarm is going to be going off in 7 hours and 24 minutes. So I'm going to call it a night, guys. Mike, thank you for coming to hang out. Everybody, thank you guys for coming out. I sincerely apologize for the absolute trash games that we've been given. Shout out to the Oklahoma City Thunder, though, for looking just way better than everybody. Again, I really appreciate you guys for supporting us. I'll be back tomorrow morning with a breakdown of tonight's games. I'll be back on for playback on Friday night for Spurs Warriors, as well as Saturday night for Lakers Bucks. We'll have our usual Hoops Tonight shows tomorrow and Friday. We also have that Lakers Collective show with Jovan and Trevor that I'm recording at 11 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. That'll be a live show that you guys can find on the Lakers Collective channel. And then obviously the All NBA show with Adam Mares on Friday. That one goes live at 9 a.m. Pacific time as well. All right, guys, I appreciate you, and I will see you guys